Okay. Call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners, November 3rd. Let's do a roll call.
Here. Here.
Here. Here. Any changes to the agenda tonight? Hearing none, moving on to approval of minutes of the previous board meeting held on October 20th.
To approve?
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Ernst?
Yes.
Commissioner Engel?
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang?
Yes.
And Commissioner Ray?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay. Moving on to regular business. Item number 1, North Park RFP proposal discussion.
Commissioners, just a couple updates on the North Park proposals. Kemper Sports was supposed to be here tonight to show their new layout. They would like to wait until the surf park discussion is resolved before they start changing their plan. And then we also have Jerry Ford working on getting us an engagement letter to do the financial feasibility. I met with him and his team last week, and they're working on getting that to us this week so we can start working on the financial feasibility of all of the projects that we're moving forward to do some due diligence on. And that is a very brief update, but that's all I have on those 2 items for North Park for the RFPs. You guys will hear from Boca Surf at the next agenda item.
Okay. Moving on to item number 2, the Boca Surf update.
Commissioners, members from Boca Surf are here to present an update to you all. Answer some of the questions that have came up at the last meeting. Are you clicking? Are you gonna click?
Yeah.
That's what I've been told.
So it works.
I tested earlier.
Right here. We go first?
I can go first. How's everybody doing? So again, my name's Andrew Strange. I'm with the Boca Surf Park. Thanks everybody that came out, either I guess for or against. We wanted to address some of the questions and concerns that have been coming up. How do I want to say it? The reality of it is there's been a lot of miscommunication and confusion that we want to try to alleviate. Our hope for talking tonight is to hopefully create some clarity as to what Boca Surf Park is, create some clarity that separates us from the other surf park proposal that happened so that there's no overlap of who we are compared to the other surf park that was proposed. So we're going to go through this. There we go. Why Boca Raton? So, as you guys know, the Cottrell family has been a part of this community for a very long period of time. Island Water Sports, Boca Surf and Sail are 2 flagships in the community. Island Camps is the local surf camp that runs every summer. Those things have been happening for 50+ years at this point. It's a natural location for a surf park, especially with the surf community that we have here in South Florida. And then with the family and the surf park that is here, our surf community that is here, and everything that's associated with that, it made a lot of sense for us to try to build a surf park here. So the North Park provided enough space for the wave pool itself. And after doing a lot of due diligence on our end and research on our end, it made a lot of sense for us to use the Wave Garden technology. So Wave Garden is the company that we've decided to work with. They provide an abundance of resources in regards to getting a surf park up and running and get it operational and keep it up and running, and provide what's needed for the community in regard to a surf element. For the climate, obviously we live in Florida. We could surf year round, which is great. It's a family-friendly opportunity to bring families together. And then obviously we want to have a really awesome amenity. So we wanted to introduce you to people from our team that couldn't be here. So when we started this project, we started working with 2 gentlemen that actually have built multiple surf parks around the world. They were actually here last week. They are in Virginia for an event, so they couldn't be here tonight. So they made some videos for us that are going to explain some of the concerns, and then we'll be going over them as well. So while we go here, that'll be intertwined with some videos of the gentlemen that are helping us as well with the expertise of Surf Park. So not sure how to press play. Matt? If...
Hi everyone, my name is Damon Tudor. I'm a partner in a company called Thinking Adrenaline. We work on active sport and leisure projects around the world, including surf parks. My background, I worked for 6 years as the CEO of Urban Surf in Australia, where we launched Urban Surf in Melbourne, and we developed, constructed and launched Urban Surf Sydney. Really great to be here supporting the Boca guys and something amazing for the community.
Hi, my name's Craig Stoddart. I was the CEO of The Wave in Bristol in the UK, and I'm current CEO of Bahrain Surf Park as well. And I'm Damon's business partner in Thinking Adrenaline.
We're really sorry we can't be here for the meeting, but we're big supporters of the Boca Raton project and we see massive community benefits all around.
One of the reasons we're involved with Boca Surf Park is that it truly is one of the best places to be able to build a surf park. Fantastic community asset, but a wonderful climate and accessibility for people of all ages, all backgrounds and abilities. With not great surf on the doorstep, it's a fantastic opportunity to bring more people into surfing here in Boca.
We're really lucky today to be able to go and see the site, the location. It looks fantastic. It'll be great to see that brought to life and the community benefits as part of that location we can see in the surrounding area.
One of the things we really like about Boca is the environment, the aspect of the climate being year-round. It's a fantastic opportunity for people of all ages, all backgrounds and abilities to come and use the surf park. It's a great community asset. The other thing that really helps the local community is that it's a benefit economically for the local house owners. We've seen evidence in Brazil where it's uplifting property prices around the surf park, and I think that's likely to happen here.
All right, so we want to go over a couple of kind of key points. So one of the things that we have tried to make it a point to do is to meet with the local community. We've done 2 separate meetups at the Traffic Garden where we've met a lot of you guys that are here tonight. And we've tried our best to listen to and to digest the feedback that's been coming in regards to pros and cons of the park itself. So we want to go over kind of park layouts, some of the sizing and scales, what's going where. We want to go over kind of the buffers and landscape and making sure that we do our best to navigate the space to maximize what's available, then also create as much green space as possible. And then we wanted to obviously touch on the home values and thoughts in regards to that. So this is the initial design that was proposed and was voted on about a month ago. And when we went and met with the residents, we got some feedback in regards to things that people liked and didn't like. So we took that the best we could, and I'm gonna go back and forth here, but by taking this design and then listening to what people were saying, we've made some pretty dramatic changes to try to accommodate some of the concerns that may have been there. So just going to leave this up here for a second so everybody can kind of look at it, and then I'll go to the next slide, which is the updates that we've made with the designers that are helping us with the actual layout. So this is our updated design that we're working through now. I want to just go 100% on the record and say none of this is finalized. This is still a working model. But one of the things that was very coming through loud and clear is to create as much buffer space as possible between the residents and the surf park. So we have actively, can I walk over there? Does this work over there? So what we've done is I don't want to like box you guys out too much. We have moved the initial entrance, this is called the hub building, to the south side. So this is north to the left and this is south to the right. We have moved this hub building to the south, which was previously up here, and been able to, as a result of that, shift the entire park about 120, 150 feet south, creating more space between these residents. And then as a result of that, we're also planning on bringing this access road further west to create additional buffer space with this community here as well. We've also been able to move the parking from this general area down to the south, bringing it closer to I-95. And then we've also removed this access road that was on the north side, creating additional space here. So we're looking at about 250-ish feet from the property line to the pool itself. One of the big feedbacks we heard as well is creating some additional green space here. So this building, which is considered the brain, this is kind of the power that runs the machine. We have the ability to shift this and make it kind of an L shape and bring it down along the west side of the pool itself, which will create some additional space between here and the residents. This building is, one of the questions was, this is actually a single-story building that's running everything. So it's not a huge monstrosity. This is just a one-story building here. We've also been able to, as a result of this, we kind of did some design plan stuff, and we brought the fourth volleyball court that was here down to the west and then added 2 more volleyball courts as well. So we'll have a total of 6 volleyball courts. So those are some of the big designs, changes that have been worked through. And then this is a rendering that we were able to get put together to kind of show some spacing and stuff. So our plan is to create a significant amount of green space in between us and the north residents, which will help mitigate a lot of the sound concerns that may be there, as well as some of the visual concerns that people had in regards to seeing something that they didn't necessarily want to see. And then we also were talking through the ability to create some walking trails from local communities to be able to walk into the park as well. There was a lot of feedback in regards to being able to walk to the park from there as well. So this is the overall updated visual for this park. So as you could see, and this is some of the feedback that, you know, was a bit confusing, is this is not a Rapids or Typhoon Lagoon type setup. This is a surf park that is a, you know, performance area where you could go and learn to surf. You could, you know, make your surfing exponentially better in a very short period of time. So this would be the new design that we're looking at and that we plan on working through. And, you know, our plan is to keep listening and keep hearing things that we think will make this the best overall experience for everybody in the community. So we wanted to, let me go back to that, but we wanted to kind of stop and see if you guys had any, we didn't know if we were doing Q&A as we go with people or how this works. We wanted to, you want to do it at the end? Okay, so Andrew is going to go through environmental.
Not out.
No.
Not out there.
Sorry, we don't take questions from the public until public requests. We can't have you speak unless you're at a microphone.
You could also get with us if you want to. We're open to listening.
All right, so certain environmental concerns have
First,
come
state
up.
your name so we know who you are.
Oh, I'm Andrew Majori from
Thank
Boca
you, sir.
Surf Park. We had certain environmental concerns came out from the community in general via email to the commissioners, to us, also in the community outreach.
So the water filtration has really advanced over the last few years. The quality of the water is going to be like drinking water in terms of its level of chlorine. So literally, I've drunk glasses of water straight out of the lagoon. There will not be that same feeling that you get out of water from a swimming pool that you get out and you smell of chlorine. That's just not the case with these lagoons. The way the technology works, it uses perlite filters, which is sand filters, ozone and UV filters, and that's what helps you not have to use as much chemicals and makes it much more environmentally friendly. In terms of overall water use, it is nowhere near what you use for a golf course. So for a lagoon in an entire year, you will use about the same as one hole of golf in terms of overall water use.
And the technology we're using in Boca Raton is WaveGarden, and WaveGarden is currently the most energy efficient solution on the market around the world, which is really exciting. And that's a great message for the environment and what we're trying to achieve overall as part of the surf park industry.
So I think surf parks were relatively new to me, and understanding the technology and how it works was definitely a crash course over the last 6 months. But what we talk about when we talk about filtration of the water, it's not like a giant YMCA indoor pool, right? The chlorination, the chemicals that are going into it are much lower than you'd see in a traditional commercial pool that's just based on the size and the magnitude, right? If we have this much amount of water, we don't need the density of chemicals. And we're using a very advanced filtration process that's not only the turning of the waves, right? It's a turbulent, not a standing body of water, but it's constantly moving to help with that, constant flow of filtration. It also uses UV systems integrated into the filters to remove a lot of the excess bacteria and things that are a little bit more expensive or a lot more expensive than a traditional YMCA or commercial pool. So this allows us to react in a much more minimally chemical-induced environment for a better water quality in general. So it's stated to us that you could pick up a cup of the water and drink it. That's how little chemicals there are in it, and it's as safe as the tap water that you're drinking. So a lot of different things about the environmental impacts of a surf park on the community and in the neighborhood, to just touch on in the redesign and to bring to light the water efficiency that Craig and Damon mentioned about using as much water as a hole of golf. It's definitely based on the geographical location of that hole of golf, right? Like Bristol, England, the desert, Palm Desert versus South Florida. Like we're introducing a lot more water into the system by the rainfall that we get in an average year. And, we don't have an extreme evaporation like they might have in the Bahrain Surf Park, which is in the Middle East. So, water usage and consumption is comparable to a golf course. We are employing green and sustainable building technologies to design our hub building and different criteria to lead qualification standards. It's in our best interest as long-term operators to have lower operating costs with using those sort of technologies and techniques. Green-friendly design, this is much different than, an albatross of concrete. And with the lush landscaping and native landscaping buffers surrounding the property, we hope to integrate it into the environment that's already there and not make it stand out. Low-lying buildings, highly sustainable products and green gardens around it would help blend it into the ecosystem that exists. And storm readiness. We're South Florida residents. We all understand what it's like to pump out your pool a little bit before those 5 inches of rain come. We are under a lot more scrutiny as a commercial development to make sure that we're handling all our surface water management on the property, whether that's through underground Coltech systems, swales, and berms to ensure that we're encapsulating all possible water exfiltration on our site. Is a core principle of ours. So the pool it's not like the levees breaking in New Orleans. This is, most certainly going to be contained on the site. Noise. Got stuck with this slide. So, noise is noise. No, that's a terrible comment. The guys did a little video about noise that gives a little context to it, and I'll touch more on it after we get their expert advice. It's buzzing. What does that mean? So quiet.
That's how the park sounds, so. Go back. Go back. Good morning.
Keep moving. All right.
Next one. No, press one.
Just jump into it.
Yeah, it's jumping.
No support one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his guy.
If you press play.
Yeah, can he press?
If it comes up, there's no video coming
No?
up.
Here we go.
Oh, there we go.
One of the really important aspects of surf parks today in the last 10 years has been the advancement in technology, where we've seen things like sound be managed really effectively. This is not a theme park, it's not a water slide, and it's not a roller coaster. The wave park itself is very quiet, and the only sound you hear really is the waves crashing or breaking on the shore. Now, that will be quieter than the road that's next door to the Boca Raton Surf Park.
We did some noise studies at the Wave in the UK, and what we found is the ambient noise of the wave was not higher than the ambient noise that was there already. That was absolutely taken on board when we opened, with absolutely no complaints about noise from local residents. So what we've got here is the Wavegarden equipment. It's made up of electromechanical motors, which are very quiet. You don't hear the mechanical noise outside of the housing. So it really truly is the wave sound that you hear when you're alongside the lagoon.
That photo is actually inside the spine of a wave garden. So if we go back to. I think we're fighting on the control here. That's actually this, inside this spine here. That's what that photo is from an active wave garden now. So you see all the tech that's in there, how it operates. Noise is a difficult concept for us to give exact science to, but our noise studies, both from existing parks and from what's existing right now at North Park, is that there's a loud noise presence from 95 as it is. And that is constant, it's all day. And our surf park, although, you know, there's an opportunity for a consistent ambient noise of the wave crashing, that's, you know, going to drown out some of the sound of 95.
Sorry, so public request is at the end of regular business, okay?
Add it after this if you want. Just again.
So the water filtration has really.
Yeah. So by using things like vegetation, lushly landscaping and planting the areas around the complex and the development, 250 feet of buffer being landscape walking trails, berms, time-based surfing program, you know, the sessions are spread out throughout the day. You know, the measurable sound impact, you know, we're told from the Wave in Bristol, which is an open and active wave garden for what, 13 years?
Yep.
For 13 years, you know, they're measuring levels at around 40 decibels. And we're getting readings over 70 currently of I-95. So that's the science we have at this moment, is that there's an existing wave garden measuring the sound decibels of it right now, is it's around 40 decibels of ambient, consistent wave crashing sound. And existing right now at the North Park area, and that portion of 95 is over in excess of 70 decibels. And I'm sure with, you know, Fast and the Furious, Boca Raton and sirens, it gets louder than that, but the wave park is consistent. And we think that the integration of lush landscaping, plantings, would really mitigate a lot of the sound pollution to the surrounding neighborhood and community. Park operations average between 45 and 50 decibels an hour, you know, is quiet like urban background noise. Again, you know, speaking with people that are, you know, living close to these existing surf parks, as well as ones that are open and operating, this is what we're projecting and have been told is the science. Light. It's for you, Shane.
Thank you, thank you. Now let's go back to the
Sir, tell us your name as can as you can.
Shane Cottrell from Boca Surf Park.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. How do you do this thing?
It's this arrow, but it's a little top.
Here you go. You just do it for me. There we go. There's a video for this one too, so we'll let this one play and then we'll go into it.
So what we've got here is the lagoon in Bristol in the UK, where we had a very sensitive lighting issue. We were in the middle of the dark countryside. We had environmental issues around bats running along the corridors, along the lagoon. And we were able to design the lighting so that it didn't spill more than 5 meters on the edge of the lagoon. And that was an important issue for the local residents. And they were satisfied once we'd completed it. And you can see how tightly the light goes around the lagoon.
Technology these days around lighting is improved significantly. This is not a baseball stadium or a football stadium in comparison to lighting. It's a lagoon and we have to contain it within the space. With our Urban Serve Sydney project, we had a similar issue to what Craig faced in Bristol, which was that we had sensitive bat populations and fauna and flora we had to look after, and any spillover of light had an impact on the environment. So we had to go through stringent testing around the lighting solutions we put in place, which would be the same as what we would put into Boca Raton.
Yeah, so anyone wondering, meters, 5 meters is 15 feet for us Americans here. And LED, all the lights will be obviously environmentally safe with LEDs and downward facing, basically like how Greg Ademo just explained. The lighting will be from a couple of different directions. It's not going to be big stadium lights. They're going to be much smaller, similar to next to I-95, which is already there. And then there's going to be lights inside the pool, like you'd have a residential pool. And there will be lights. Obviously, we're trying to keep it, we have to add more lights to keep them lower, but it is capable to do it. So we will obviously want to reduce the impact on the neighbors as much as possible. There'll be automated and timing controls. So after hours, before hours, it won't be running all night. There will be the lights inside the pool running all night for, security and insurance and all the rest. But the overhead lights will only be while people are surfing. And then obviously in between the residential areas and the surf park, there's going to be a lot of trees to buffer that, along with the angles of the lights that won't be pointing that direction at all. There's a cool video we have here of showing, this is it here actually. So you can see it playing at night. So this is a live video of Bristol operating at night. And you can see they're more in the countryside. So there's not as much neighbors, but that was in the middle of the green belt there. And yeah, you can see it doesn't spill that far at all. They're using a little larger poles than we will need to. We'll just have to add more of them just to have the same amount, but it should reduce impact even more. No, only the lights inside the pool, like underneath, like you'd have in a swimming pool, would be all night long. In case something would fall in, the overhead lights would turn off as soon as people are done surfing.
Guys, please keep your comments and questions until public request. Thank you.
On the traffic impact, we did a traffic study already, or there's a video there, right? Yeah.
So traffic, unsurprisingly, is a big topic with local residents. What we found in Bristol, we're next to a village with a single lane, and there was great concern about the volume of traffic that was going to go through the village. The reality is that this is not like a theme park where everyone arrives at the same time. Because the sessions are broken up during the day, it breaks the number of cars that are coming into every hour, and they come at different times. So the reality is the residents saw no real change to the volume of traffic going through the village. And so what they thought was going to be a major issue turned out not to be an issue at all.
With Urban Surf, we had to conduct traffic studies, and I'd really encourage you to have a look at what's been done for the Boca Raton project as well. And I think you'll find those volumes are very manageable. Again, this is not a theme park. You don't have a rush at 10 a.m. of everyone coming to this project. You're seeing the spaced out hours throughout the day, a set number of surfers throughout that period of time, and it creates a very stable flow of traffic that doesn't disrupt the local community.
Yeah, so I think Craig and Ademo said well there too. The traffic we're trying to design is in a way that will obviously be the least amount of impact. We've been in that area. I drive through it often with my kids' school right around the corner. So we know how Second gets really backed up. So we'll try to be focusing most of the people out west. The way the turn lane goals will be more on the Clintmore Road out to Congress and either to wherever else that people need to go. We did the traffic study, which is on our website. You guys can go check it out. They said 70% of traffic from their expertise would be going west, 30% east, and then 15 basically to north or south on Second. I saw the other day the city, I don't know if this isn't us, but has done the Dixie going along with that. So I don't know how that will affect the traffic, but it would be good to get together with all the different you know, with both all the different developers in that area to get a comprehensive traffic study of the entire park. But yeah, we are happy to work with our neighbors, with the district, with the city, and obviously Boca PD, fire, and EMS for everything that is needed in that area. Security and safety.
Security and safety at Boca Surf Park. Obviously, insurance is very expensive, speculatively for a park like this. So we have a much more stringent criteria of ensuring that we're safely securing this site, not only for our active participants and occupants having fun at the park, but also in dormant hours when it's not operational. So deferring to the casualty and reinsurance markets, we have a very strict security and safety protocol. Lifeguards at vantage points stationed throughout the pool on moving shifts to ensure that we always have sight lines of the pool. Controlled access and 24/7 monitoring by providing, the requirement to lock the facility down with paywalls, high fences around the facility, as well as the landscaping and berms. We'll have physical obstructions with gates, fences, and paywalls, as well as the landscaping. And then a very comprehensive CCTV package to ensure that have no blind spots in the park. We also want to make sure that it's safe for the community. So using license plate readers for coming in and out of the access points and ensuring that our patrons are doing right by us, but making sure we have a good home here in the community of Boca. And just really hitting home the fact that insurance companies are sticklers for what it is we need to provide, and that we will have a very comprehensive security protocol as it relates to that. Roving security guards at night when we're not open, the CCTV, remote monitoring, alarms, RFIDs, and then the lifeguards. I mean, we're staffing a ton of lifeguards for this facility. It's a big pool, and making sure everyone's got clear sight in the pool. This is a mock sketch of where we'd position CCTV cameras around the development site. License readers at the entrance, all the blind spots on the backside and the west side to ensure, one, the asset is safe and secure, but two, that we have no loitering, no trespassing, and that everyone's accessing as they should through the entrances. It is a fairly large and vast space, and this is conceptually how we'd look at observing the park 24/7. So we talked about some of the surveillance and monitorings. We have cameras around the lagoon and the parking. There's been a lot of advancements in cameras, being able to use infrared technology to observe what's going on in the pools, as well as, a centralized security operation. So we have not only eyes on the pool from a lifeguard standing there looking over the pool, but, an eye in the sky, so to speak, to make sure that we have checks on everybody that's available. Night patrol at night, badge systems, throughout the facility. It'll function a lot like a recreation space with emergency call stations, panic buttons, first aid stations, and lifeguards all being trained in first aid, and then coordinated response with our fire, police, and EMS. Cybersecurity and data integrity could be a huge section on that, but we'll protect the infrastructure as best we can. And then level 2 background checks for all roles of our staff that involve guest interaction, and pre-employment background screening for all the staff, utilizing a third party for compliance with our state and federal standards. Well,
Let's go. Last video from these guys, and then, yeah.
So one of the great things about the Surf Lagoons is the social impact that it can have on both physical and mental health. At the Wave in Bristol, we ran regular events with groups of young children and young adults who had some mental health challenges, and it was sponsored by the NHS, the National Health Service in the UK, because there'd been evidence that shows that it has better outcomes compared to medical interventions.
Yeah, and for us with Urban Surf, we worked with a number of different charities, one being Ocean Heroes, which is a specialist charity for autistic kids, and we use the wave pool as a way of them enjoying their experience. And also Waves of Wellness, which was another mental health charity with in particular teenagers and how we help them through the challenges they face in everyday life.
So surfing in lagoon is an incredibly sticky sport. It's when we studied how many people would come back in a 12-month period, 50% of people will come back and surf a second time at least, and many, many more times. We had some surfers coming 200 times a year, making it part of their experience, a bit like going to the gym. We had people coming from, we had babies in there with their parents on a one-on-one in what we called the Play in the Bay with small waves. We even had an 85-year-old surfer surfing, which is just, it shows how many people can access this sport.
It shows as well, for our experience, it really does democratize surfing. You're creating access to an experience that's quite aspirational. And a lot of people haven't been able to do it before as a result of that, for all the challenges you might face in the ocean when you're trying to surf for the first time. So the access for kids, and particularly the female audience for us at Urban Surf, was really positive. We achieved over 35% of our audience being a female participant, which is unheard of in the sport of surfing. So it just shows how broad these projects can be for the community.
Thank you for hearing us out in terms of why we think Boca Surf Park can really add value to your community. And we look forward to coming back and seeing you in the future as this moves forward.
It's been great to be here and a delight to work with this team. We've got a great team on the ground, we've got great technology and a great project, and really looking forward to seeing you all behind it as we charge forward. Thank you.
Yeah, and as they said, extremely sticky. It's the reason why we're all up here, at least everyone but majority here. But it's a love and it's a passion for all of us and a lot of the surfers around here in South Florida. Running the surf shop for that many years, it's been it's sad to see a lot of our friends leave because they want to go find ways to other places, and it's I think it's a perfect place to have one here. It's we're building it for Boca. It's safe. It's good for everyone, all ages. It's nature-based. It's for the kids that don't like to play baseball or football or any of the normal team sports. It's an individualized sport that anyone can do, and that helps you be able to do it when you're older. You can do it when you have a lot of friends that are also busy with life and can't make it to a Monday night meeting at 5 o'clock, and they want to go surf by themselves, and they can do that. It's not like you need a big group to go. We plan on doing a lot of community engagement with different activities like we currently do with our surf shop. We do Surfers for Autism events. We were doing them every year, but it's been hard to do them lately just with the ocean being so unpredictable. And we haven't done them since COVID started, but we, at least at the surf shop, but I think programs like that, programs like Waves to Wellness and all the veterans programs, there's just a lot of different therapies that will work out, and we plan on doing as many of those as we can. What's that? Sorry. I know. Didn't want to get too close to you guys, but yeah, so it's a lifelong surf and swim for everyone. It's still a very fun place to use it, and we don't have to use it as a surf park all the time. You can turn the wave machine off and you can use it for other activities, whether it be for senior wellness. You do water aerobics. I know my grandma asked me that about 12 times already. And we can make it work for everybody. The plan is to do discounts for Beach and Parks District residents. We need to work with you guys to see what's a good program to be able to monitor that. And then we've also had some meetings this past week with some of the other residents about having a collaboration with the people in the immediate North Park area that's going to be affecting the most. So hopefully make it a win-win situation that they can all enjoy surfing. So that is our presentation, and we'd love to hear some questions from you guys.
So commissioners, would we like to open up public discussion now on this topic, or wait till we talk about the softball fields and then open public requests to everything?
I would rather wait until we've had public requests. So possibly in the course of the presenter's response to the public, we might get a couple of the answers we were looking for. And it might make things go a little quicker.
So wait till after.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else?
Madam Chair, if we wait until afterwards, will we still be able to weigh in on the process where we are right now? Is that these were one of the selections that we made. When will we actually look at, making a commitment? Because so far we're just doing the evaluation.
We're still waiting on the financial feasibility studies for everybody. So we've got to get everybody's financial information over. Jerry Ford's working on that letter of engagement for us to look at, hopefully early this week, and then we'll go from there. But it's not something that we plan on doing immediately because we need to get all of the due diligence out of the way. I think they just wanted to provide an update because there's so much concern from the general public to provide some update on some of the changes they're making to their plan to meet those concerns.
Ask council a question. Sam, in terms of the proposal that we put out there, what are the options that are given to us as a commission as far as accepting and or rejecting a proposal?
Respond, Madam Chair. You're in the middle of a process which you've engaged through the RFP that was posted. In that RFP process, you made some tentative selections, specifically by ranking. There is no contract with any vendor for any proposal that's been submitted. You're in the discussional stage. You listen to your executive director, which in the process of due diligence, you're reviewing financial and other data, which the RFP allows you to do. May be useful to know what it actually says so that you can be refreshed about what that, if I may, Madam Chair. The RFP, which is your request for proposals, which is the basis on which you've opened up this opportunity to those who would seek to provide a service or a product, indicating as follows, that the Greater Boca Raton Beach and Park District reserves the right to cancel in whole or in part any request for proposals when it is in the best interest of the district. And that's a term that's used throughout the RFP process. The award of contract is a boldface item in your document, and it tells us that this contract may be awarded to the responsive and responsible proposer, meeting all requirements as set forth in the solicitation, which is what the RFP is. The district reserves the right to reject any and all proposals, to waive irregularities or technicalities, and to re-advertise for all or any part of the solicitation as deemed in its best interest. The district shall be the sole judge of its best interest, and that's also in the document. And the district in the document specifically says reserves the right to reject any and all proposals if it is determined to be in the district's best interest to do so. And lastly, the district reserves the right to request and evaluate additional information from any proposer after the due date of proposals as the district deems necessary. So those are the predicates for where the measurement that you're describing or asking about actually occurs. And you are, as described by the chair and by your director, executive director, you're just listening to an update from the vendor who was given some additional points for review. This is not a decision point for engagement. This is not a contract. This is simply a presentation that was asked for by the board, and that's what you're receiving this evening. That helps you. And these conditions, however, are solely within your discretion. To the extent that you would choose to exercise anything within the context of this award discussion.
Yeah. Thank you, Sam. There's been a lot of effort put into this proposal, and been a lot of work at this the proposal, and I think they've answered a lot of questions of the community. When we purchased this property, it was designed to be a 27-hole golf course, and those of us on the commission at the time know we went through a lot of interviews with golf pros and settled on a golf pro, and then we had some issues getting that prospect approved by the city because of the loan that we had. They were the ones that could pull the trigger and say yes or no. I for one have heard the community. This is going in the backyard of a lot of the residents in Boca Chica. And I've heard the comments as you have also from the concerns of the residents of the traffic. I think the traffic situation is probably one of the overriding factors I have, but it's the other factor is the response that the neighborhood has had to this project. And I'm concerned about doing the thing that's best for the district. I think the district is comprised of the people who put us in this office. And listening to the public, I'm uncomfortable with moving forward and having any further discussion on this project. And I'm prepared to make a motion if it pleases the chair, if I might do so, Madam Chair.
Sure, I guess, so, yeah.
Sam, would that be out of order?
Well, if I may, Madam Chair, the item on the agenda is the Boca Surf update. And to the extent that the item has been agendized as the Boca Surf update, it's certainly an item that's on the agenda for public consumption, for your review, and for activities that might occur this evening at tonight's meeting. So the item is set forth as an update, but certainly you have the prerogative under your own bid documents, your RFP documents, and certain retained rights and best interest matters that would be in play if you would choose to do something about it this evening, given the nature of the item on the agenda.
Well, with all that legalese, Sam, is it answer
You
yes
gotta
or
tell me
no?
what you want to do. If it be let me give you some of the options, if I may,
Okay.
Madam Chair, with your permission. You have gone through a significant process, legal process, which is the advertising for this particular matter. The RFP was prepared with great due diligence by your executive director and staff. You have several different vendors, proposers that you've ranked, which are still ranked in that regard, and they fall into certain categories. And basically in reading and rereading the RFP documents, if this district board were to exercise a prerogative, it could essentially cancel any of the proposals right now and start from scratch. You could, by motion, under your own documents, reject proposals based upon findings that you've conducted over a period of time by hours of testimony and evidence, whatever that may mean to each one of you. That's one of the moves you could make. One of the options is you could actually reject all proposals and start again, or you could, to the extent possible, not do that issue. But if you were to, for example, take a category or a use that you're describing this evening, you could actually take action on that item if you so chose as well. Again, the best interests of the district are preserved and are given to you. So that would be a right that you would have to retain if it be the wish of the Board of Commissioners to do that.
Okay, and unless I'm out of order, then I'm proposing to make a motion that in light of the community compatibility issues, traffic impacts, that I make a motion to reject the Boca Surf Park and any similar project at this location.
Please. Please, guys, please. Huh?
We didn't hear.
Oh.
We didn't hear.
We didn't hear the whole motion. Can you please make sure you restate the whole motion, please? Guys, audience, please. Please. Thank you. Go ahead.
I gave the motion.
We didn't hear the whole motion, so we need to hear the whole motion.
The motion was in light of the community compatibility issues and traffic impacts, that I make a motion to reject the Boca Surf Park and any similar project at this location.
If I may ask, with the chair's permission, your motion then would include any similar use, any other,
Any similar project at this
it
location.
should apply to the other vendor that was not shortlisted by this.
That is
by the
correct.
Commission.
That is correct.
Under the term, if I may, Madam Chair, if you choose, under the terms of your RFP process, you would have the legal prerogative to make that decision, should you have a majority vote to support it. You
Okay.
need a second on the motion if you're going to proceed.
So you need a second on the motion.
Madam Chair, before we proceed with the motion, I have to be very honest. A lot of what you say, Commissioner, are feelings that I share. There are other things that also make me feel like this is not the place for a surf park.
Please, 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 just let him finish, please.
No applause, you can throw money. And I really didn't mean that. But I also think that in light of the other proposals that we have, it's my understanding that the golf proposal, their level of cooperation leaves something to be desired. My feeling on the field house is we put money aside for it. So I think that should be something that we build, and it shouldn't be something that's part of a public-private partnership. So maybe what we should look at this particular time is, I don't know if banking the land is the right thing to say, because I'm not necessarily thinking, okay, we put this aside for 20 years or 10 or 5, but I think we should do first things first. The first thing is the east side, which we already have a plan for, and we're already going to put out RFPs for. I think we need to take care of that. And I also feel that going forward with development of the west side, before we do anything else, we should get an idea of exactly what we want to put there, rather than just take any RFP for anything. I mean, somebody come in and say, I want to do hang gliders there, and we have to listen. I would rather say, okay, we're going to do A, B, and C over here. And this is the part that's going to be for A, and this is the part that's going to be for B, and this is the part that's going to be for C. And right now, we're kind of all over the place. So I agree with Bob, but I also think that maybe we should put everything aside for the time being, leave the property as it is, develop the east side with walking paths, et cetera, that we were talking about, and then revisit this. So I don't know if we need 2 separate motions, or we can go with Bob's motion amended.
Well, we're getting bids back on the east side. So that's moving forward.
Right.
Right. We already have that moving forward going. We got the trails. We're good to go.
Madam
Well-
Chair, I think I either need to get a second or we move on.
Did anybody else have any other comments?
Well, if we had a second, we could discuss it and then vote it up or down.
Does anybody have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay.
The motion as it was stated or amended?
It has
As
not,
stated.
if I may, the motion on the floor is the one made by Commissioner Rollins, which basically essentially would eliminate under the RFP terms and conditions, that portion which would be anything in the context of the surf park as described by the commissioner.
Okay. Any further discussion? Craig, I think you have something.
Madam Chair, I'm not amenable to any amendments to my motion. I don't say this very casually, because this has been a disturbing situation that I've had to deal with internally, because I've always been a recreation guy for the community. But when the community has an objection to something that we do, I've never run into that situation before. And so I wanted to put it to a vote to see where the commission was on this particular project. It's a beautiful project. I just don't think it's the right location.
Craig?
And I don't take this lightly, because I know that these gentlemen put in a lot of time and effort in it. But I just have to go with my heartfelt feelings about how the community has responded to this. And the folks that live in that neighborhood are the ones that have been the most vociferous against this project. We've had people who come in from other parts of the county and people who did not live in that area that are supporting it. And I probably wrestle this over and over again, trying to make what's the right decision for the community, right decision for these people who put in a lot of time and effort to develop this project. And so it wasn't an easy thing for me to do. I didn't try to, I knew there's going to be some people that are not going to like this suggestion, some that would probably go along with it. I didn't do it to please anybody except my conscience about what's best for this community. So.
Craig?
My thoughts on it is I disagree with you completely. And I disagree with you for a number of reasons.
Let's let the commissioners talk, please.
So first of all, the motion itself is flawed by itself because you're eliminating everything. Anything but what? If you've gone out there and looked at that and walked the property, it is disgraceful. It is overrun with iguanas. It's overrun, it's grass, it's nothing. And to have the thought of having another golf course
Please,
is ridiculous.
please.
Adjacent to
No
another one.
comments while he's speaking, please.
So secondly, so you're boxing in the district into something that was not, you're limiting everything and saying you don't want to have a surf park. These folks are willing to invest $50 million plus into something that actually I think reduces noise, provides an amenity that is unique to the community, and it will provide a lot of value.
Okay,
But
please,
so-
please.
So
Huh?
that said, okay, we are in the
Guys,
an
no comments
exploratory
during
stage.
talking, please.
So we're in the exploratory stage and you're kind of pulling the rug out under all the work that has already been done on it to say, no, I don't want a surf park and I don't want anything else. I don't know what you want at this point. We did a survey to the community. I would say I understand the community has already said no. They've said no to a lot of things, a lot of things. This is a recreation area. In my opinion, it would be a tragedy for the rest of the community who has openly spoken, we do not want another golf course within 2 miles of the first golf course. So, because it doesn't make money.
Guys,
It
please.
is a loss leader for everyone. It's a loss to the community. I don't want to raise taxes to our community. And so I go back to the principles we filed with the state. The file principles with the state is to reduce our millage rate, to reduce our operating costs, and anything else other than that is going to increase it. So when we first started looking at the east side, we said, okay, let's build some trails. Let's do all this stuff. And you may recall sometime in the spring, we came back with just a small portion of this thing and said, my gosh, it's $10 million to build trails. What's it going to cost to build out 212 acres of trails? And so I think these guys did a tremendous job. They moved this whole park up 250 yards away from the house. And I'm thinking to myself, my God, 250 feet from their houses. That's almost like a football field. Please.
Step outside. if you can.
Okay, if I'm asking you to listen, just like I've listened through a lot of these proposals and I've listened through this 8 years on this board and we went out to the community. The community is not just Boca Chica, it's the entire community. So we're making a decision here that is going to be impactful for everyone. So with that set in mind, I'm suggesting that we don't adopt this proposal and I recommend that we do not go forward with it, but let it explore out like it was. We still may come to that same conclusion, but it is a huge investment for these people to do this and you're kind of walking it away from it.
Okay,
May I speak, Madam Chair?
go ahead.
Well, all I have to say is that I thought my motion was pretty specific and definite as far as this particular project and any project of its nature. I didn't take anything else off the list, Craig, and
Read the last sentence,
and
please.
I did not to reject the Boca Surf Park and any similar project at this location.
I don't know what that is. We
Craig,
can't.
well, it's been seconded and we're here for discussion, Craig. And I don't appreciate the acrimony with which you're delivering your objection. We could speak at a very civil tone about it. And I appreciate the fact that you're upset about it. I appreciate the fact that these gentlemen put in a lot of time and effort into this. But I also appreciate the fact that we have a community of people that live on adjacent to that property who opposed it. It's not like that it's not in my backyard or your backyard, but it is somebody's backyard. So
Okay. Did you have anything or no?
This is difficult, but in view of it's a beautiful proposal. In view of the residents who have been bombing us with emails, some civil and some not quite as nice. It's a very hard decision because their property values are at risk, so they say. Their quality of life, they're very concerned about. I realize you have made a lot of concessions, and it's just, a lot of the emails that we've gotten from the surf people are not even residents. They're not paying taxes. I realize that you all are part of our community, but a lot of the people who are going to would be using the surf park, I'm not sure that they could afford it. We haven't really seen what it would cost for a family of 4 to spend, a few hours there. And, they're not just going to come in for an hour and leave necessarily. I've asked some of these people in emails whether they, what the cost would be for them. And I never got a response. It's always we need the surf park, we need the healthy lifestyle. And I really get that. But, we are here at the Greater Boca Raton Beach and Park District for the community. And I think we have to really consider their quality of life. Okay.
Huh? Right. Well, do we want to open it up to public comment first before we vote? Or what is your,
there's a motion on the floor. I think
Okay.
that you need to move forward with the motion up or down one way before we do public requests as it's planned at the end of the meeting.
okay. I mean, I can see all points of view on this. Like, we have gotten so many emails from the residents, concerned residents. We've gotten a lot of emails from surfers. It's a very difficult, but it's also very early on in the process. So that's what makes me a little bit hesitant to cancel it straight away. We might end up getting there at that point, at some point, from doing our due diligence through the entire process. But without giving it an opportunity, I just think it's a little early on in the process to do that. Knowing what a great recreational opportunity this would be for the residents. But I think, again, I wouldn't be up here, first of all, if I didn't care, okay? So I volunteer my time to be here and make difficult decisions like this. So if you want to come up here and make these difficult decisions, have at it, run for office. But we do this in and out every other week. And we're here for the community. That's what we're here for. So don't ever say that none of us ever don't care, please. So if we want to go ahead and take a vote on this, we can absolutely do that.
Madam Chair,
Yep.
forgive the interruption or sound indelicate, but before you make a decision on this motion, the way that it's been cast and it has been seconded, it makes a final decision with regard to this issue regarding anything referenced in the documentation as a surf or aquatics proposal. There are only two, the one that's before you this evening physically and the other, which is the Wave House proposal. Those are the only two that would be affected by that motion. However, it's a final decision. Under state law, you're in a public building. There are tape machines going. This is a recorded meeting. The public is sitting in the audience. They have a legal right to speak, or they have a legal right to be heard if they so choose before you make a final decision. This decision would be final. And for the record, that's the legal element. It's under Chapter 286. It's the Sunshine Law. You're sitting in a public meeting because the public has a right to be here. In the context of making decisions that you make publicly, the public has a right also to be heard on that decision before you make it. This would not be a tentative decision. This would end the debate and the discussion. So, Madam Chair, forgive the indelicate comment that I had to offer you, but the legal advice is public has a right to be heard and you have to hear them.
Well,
Yeah,
the next
I'm-
step.
And I'm fine with that. You know, the struggle I had with this was the timing on it. You know, getting down another 6 months and then coming to the same conclusion would not have been fair to the proposers either. So that's what was motivating my opportunity to have this motion put on the floor.
Madam Chair, just to supplement the conversation, but any public comment or discussion is limited to what the motion refers to on the record. There's nothing to do with anything else except the limited aspect, the legal aspect of the motion before this public body making a decision in a public forum. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I'm not fine with it. I mean, I think this is, Bob, I just feel like this is kind of pulled out of the blue with not a conversation to finish it off. And I think that is very unfair to have a discussion, you know, exploring this other than what you've stated, and you've made such a very firm and final statement. So quite frankly, we've had a strong, good relationship as a board, and it's the first time I've ever heard of a motion like this that kind of knocks it out of the way and never considers it again firm and final. So I'm disappointed with it, and I don't think it's fair to this group. So I would rather have the exploratory proceed as it is and decide where we're at, but that motion I cannot support.
Okay, Steve.
This has also been a very difficult decision for me because when I first heard the proposal, I liked it. I said as much. But in light of what I've heard from the community, in talking to other people and also internally in here, I kept coming down to the same thing. And that same thing was, do I want a surf park? Gentlemen, if you please. Thank you. Do I want a facility like this 250 feet behind my house? And the answer for me is no. So if the answer for me is no, and the answer for these residents who, in whose place I'm trying to put myself is the same, that's what I come back to. Okay? There are other concerns that I have, financial concerns. This is a big undertaking. And surf parks have a checkered past, and you guys may have all your ducks in a row, but there are things here that frankly, I'm not comfortable with. So I would rather say at this point, for all those reasons, this is not the time or place. So for me, and I understand where you're coming from, Craig, because I was there. But for me, it comes back to the same thing. How would I feel if I were in the resident's position? And that's why I have to support Bob's motion.
Let's go ahead and open it up to public comment. Please keep the cheering and the comments to a minimum so that we can get through everybody's public comment. Thank you. Please state your name and your address, and you have 3 minutes.
My name is Don Huber. I live at 316
Would you
Northwest.
speak up, please?
Pardon?
Speak up.
Speak up.
It's hard to hear you.
I live at 316 Northwest 67th Street. I am adjacent to the water park that you just saw, very close to the water, 250 feet apparently. I appreciate Mr. Rollins and his seconder's motion. I think they're appropriate. I do agree with counsel that you do have a public comment. You're showing some ignorance by putting public comments at the end of your meeting. I'm glad you didn't do that tonight. I'm glad you changed. It's ignorant to put public comments after you've acted on anything. You did that last time, and that was a poor choice. We are in the process of doing something with property that has a deed restriction. I have been in the field of law, corporate America, and academia. I taught real estate law and real estate finance at a college level. I'm telling you, this property is restricted to be a golf course in perpetuity. And there are a number of people here, I'm sure, that agree with that. Yes. If you do not put a golf course, you're going to have lawsuits for anything else, paddleball, soccer, anything else you try and put on this property. It's a restriction you've gotten poor advice on. And if you think the Supreme Court of the state of Florida will not uphold the citizens' right and request to have their property protected, I have a real estate expert who says your property is worth $50,000 to $100,000 less if you do not have what you were promised behind you. Under the circumstances, I would also tell you, I have today received notification from a client with well over $50 million willing to put in to build a golf course, private or public, on that property. If you want a golf course, we'll get an 18-hole at least, and it has to be a significant course, in my opinion. I'm suggesting right now that I will submit that in writing, that we have an investor ready to put 50 million minimum. He's ready to wire the money to my account if we want to build a golf course.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Good evening, Nick DeVicien, 320 Northwest 67th Street in Boca. I am also one of the residents right next to this project. And I think Commissioner Rollins really hit the nail on the head. This is the right project, but the wrong location. I looked at the website that the Boca Surf Park put up, and they talk about having 1,500 people a year go through their camps. I will tell you that there are close to 3,200 homes and condos surrounding this project. Many of those people are here tonight, and it will directly influence them. Some of the videos that you saw tonight from those projects in Bristol and in Melbourne, one of them, they told you, it's out in the countryside. There's nobody around to complain. The one that is in Melbourne is next to an airport. There's already a ton of noise. Nobody's going to complain there. You have 3,200 people that will be affected. They'll be looking right at it. Their property values will be directly influenced by this project. This is not something you should take lightly. I think Commissioner Rollins said it exactly, that you have to do what is best for the district, not just a few surfers or tourists. I can tell you that all the people in these condos and homes, it's predominantly retirement. None of them are going to be using this surf park. I don't think any of them will be using the surf park. And frankly, I don't think anyone here that supports the surf park lives in any of those 3,200 units. 2 people, 2. How many from the area next door? Yeah, exactly. So it's going to have a predominant negative impact on the people that live around that area. The decision you're making is for what's right for the district as a whole, not a few tourists, not a few surfers, not the 1,500 people who come into town for these surf camps. It's for the district as a whole. And as you heard from council, it is what benefits the district as a whole. You're making a decision that should affect or does affect a lot of people. And you can't make a decision. I understand the financial, impact of it. Yes, they're going to bring in a bunch of money rather than building a park and the city spending the funds. I get it, but it's going to have a negative impact on those 3,200 people, 3,200 units with many more people that are right there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, Whitney Thorne, 235 Northwest 45th Street, Boca Raton, Florida, 33431. I wasn't planning on talking tonight, but usually what happens when a rash decision is made, I smell fear. And so fear of success really, because this is something brilliant. These guys have worked really hard. And so when people try to do something quickly, it's so that more of the community can't know about it. They just try to take it, off the table completely. And so what's happened here is that unfortunately, most people in our community of Boca Raton don't get involved in local government, which is super sad. They're just too busy with their own stuff. They don't come. And so what we're actually talking about is a minority here. It's a minority of people that don't want this because the greater Boca Raton area,
Please,
the
please.
greater Boca
It's her
Raton
3
area
minutes to
has
talk.
a lot of families. Excuse me. The greater Boca Raton area has a whole lot of families. And so we are just placating to one demographic here. And so I'm super saddened and disappointed with this generation of 55 plus that are only thinking about themselves and not the next generation. Like, what about the next generation?
Please, she has 3 minutes on the floor. Let her speak.
There are children in this community. There are teenagers in this community. There are more people in this community other than 55 plus that are angry and don't want something new and something fresh. And so I'm just telling you, I'm talking to the committee members here. I'm disappointed in you that you aren't looking at change as a good thing, something for our next generation. I'm saddened that you throw out things. Are you even listening to their proposal? I'm saddened that you throw out things that the traffic is going to be a problem because a 27-hole golf course would bring traffic as well. I'm concerned that everybody is just so set in their ways. They're not actually listening to the facts because these men have done their due diligence. They have done so much research. They have brought you the noise. They have brought you everything you have asked for. And so I just ask you to open up your hearts to think about other people other than yourselves. Thank you.
Thank you.
Russell Thorne, 235 Northwest 45th Street, Boca Raton, Florida. Yeah, when I first heard about a surf park being built in Boca Raton, I heard from a friend in the water while I was surfing. And I think I said, never in Boca. That just won't happen. I can't see that happening. We're too stuffy, too set in our ways. But here we are talking about this thing. And I'm so impressed. I really am impressed that we're thinking for the future, thinking for our kids, thinking for the whole district, not just a golf course that golfers go to. When I got up here, I wasn't really sure what I was going to talk about. I just felt like I needed to talk. I'm still not really sure, as you can tell. I'm not from around here, as you can tell by my accent. I've been in Boca for about 10 years. And ever since I've been here, this land has been just derelict, used. I drive past there every day, not every day, but as I go to Costco, it's just sat there doing nothing. It's time to use this land for the greater district and not just for the local residents as their happy place, which is great. Everyone needs their happy place. But I really feel that this project is good for everybody. I don't see any negative effects for any of the local residents. The noise is not an issue, as has been described. The environment will not be impacted. Everything is being mitigated to make this amenable for everybody. So let's look to the future, look to our kids, look to the next generation and move forward, do something exciting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Corey Kuzmich, 5200 East Club Circle. I'm not the greatest at speaking in front of groups, but I think a big reason why you're not hearing that much support from a lot of the surfers is like, I'm only 25 years old and I'm still in my work uniform. Like I ran here from work as fast as I could just because I know that we don't have that much of a voice for this. And I got so many buddies that have never had the chance to go surfing or they don't know how to get into it. I was lucky enough, my parents put me through like the Island Water Sports surf camps and stuff, but
Excuse me, please.
I respect everybody here and I understand the concerns about the location. If there's another location, then so be it. But I do think that this is a beautiful spot. And like was addressed earlier, the noise, the traffic, everything was addressed. It was actually going from 70 decibels to 40 decibels to help out the noise in I-95. And I'm not as smart as this man here, who's the real estate guru. Like, I don't know all these things, but I'm more coming at, from like the compassion side of surfing is a untouched sport. We in South Florida, we get waves only when a good cold front comes in, and that's it. And I'm at work all the time. I can't even use them. So I just thought it was a really good idea to have this, and it looked like a great location, very accessible. It would bring so much youth to this area as well. That's a whole nother topic about how my generation, it's impossible for us to afford anything. So when you have these $1 million properties that only the, not to like say elderly, but the older can afford, there's not much I can do. So I just, I don't understand all the legal stuff, but I do hope that you can at least rethink a little bit of, giving the youth more of a shot. So that's all. Thank you. Thank you to everybody here too.
Hello, my name is Tommy Rajinski. I'm from 400 Northwest 67th Street in Sandy Vance community. I guess I've learned one thing tonight, that if you're 55 plus, you don't count. And if you're a taxpayer, you don't count. And I happen to be 250 feet from that water park, the southern part. And I was one of those that emailed y'all, but I was good. I asked politely, please reconsider. I want to thank the two gentlemen and the gentlelady for your support of the local community. It's a great idea. And what a great proposal they put on. But if you believe all the stuff that they said, I got a bridge to sell you. I don't have anything more to say than thank you to the three. And I please don't let this come through. Don't put this in our backyard. We pay the taxes. We pay everything. I was a member of Boca Chica. I remember when you guys did the deal for swapping land. It was supposed to be a golf course, yes, with trainers and everything for the youth. There's where you want to put the youth. Learn how to play golf. You surf in the ocean, not in our backyard. So that's all I have to say. And thank you, you three. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Karen Prusnick. I live at 400 Northwest 67th Street. And I am in Sandy Vance, and I am 250 yards away from that catastrophe there. Now, when you talk about noise, you just mentioned the sound of water. Well, that's nice. How are you going to have children there that are yelling, screaming, cheering, whistles, lifeguards with microphones, music? I'm sure they're not going to all go there and just like silently surf. There's going to be a lot more noise than water and the traffic we already have. It's ridiculous when they try to convince us that it's not going to be an issue. Would you want to smell hamburgers cooking? And our pool closes at dusk, which right now is 5:10 at night. And yet we're going to have that in our backyard till 11, 10 o'clock at night. It's ridiculous. Then when you also talk about costs and you say there's only going to be 35 to 45 cars, do the math. They're not going to make any money. It'll go under. So that in order for them to be profitable, they have to have a lot more than 40 or 50 cars. And also, like the gentlelady said, they're not going to come there just for an hour and leave. They're going to sit there all day. They're going to go eat. They're going to cheer. They're going to whatever. And meet their girlfriends, boyfriends. Yeah, but if you're youthful, you can be a useful golfer. And the golf course that they have here in Boca is really, it's inside a community. It's not a public course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, my name is Carolyn Neckin. I live in building number 5 on Northwest 2nd Avenue. And I've been here for 20 years, and every morning I look out my back window and I love my green grass and my trees and hearing the birds in the morning. I don't want to hear waves. I don't want to hear children screaming. I have grandchildren. I appreciated what they showed on the screen. I said my kids would love it, but I am too old to go through that. And the other biggest problem is transportation. Between Clintmore Avenue and Yamato Road, going south on Northwest Second Avenue, when we have a big rain, it becomes a lake on the west side of the road. 2 years ago, there was a tremendous rainfall and I was coming home at night. I had to absolutely make a U-turn and go down Dixie Highway to come in the back way because it was not navigable. So I don't know how you would address that situation as you're putting in a pickleball court off Clintmore. I just don't know how you can do with all this traffic. I mean, it's 2 lanes. And it's just, I'm so glad that you are getting rid of this idea. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Riona Zevakowski. I live at 414 Northwest 67th Street, apartment 108, where the Wave Park will be right behind me, period, like 100 feet or something, right behind my house. And I don't want something like that in a residential area. This $60 million artificial wave lagoon pitched as a regional hotspot with its Wave Garden Cove technology might sound like a surface dream in landlocked South Florida, but let's peel back the hype. It's a disruptive eyesore that threatens our neighborhoods, environment, and the very essence of why we love Boca Raton. We don't need engineered waves. We need to protect what we already have. First, consider the human cost. This project would bulldoze tranquility and establish residential areas like Sandavans, where I live, where families have called home for decades. North Park, formerly the Quiet Ocean Breeze Golf Course, sits right on the edge of the quiet communities, just east of I-95 and north of Yamato Road. Residents have already raised alarm, pointing out there are any number of places in Boca where this could be built without affecting pre-existing residential neighborhoods. Why plop a 23.8 acre behemoth here, complete with food trucks, volleyball courts, and an adventure zone drawing 80 surfers per hour? Expect traffic snarls on Yamato Road, headlights piercing bedroom windows at night, and the constant hum of wave machines operating at 45 to 50 decibels, equivalent to a low-flying drone or idling truck. Even with their promised landscape buffers, this isn't a park. It's a commercial intrusion masquerading as recreation. We've seen enough overdevelopment in Boca. Remember the outcry over the downtown government campus at Memorial Park. We can't let history repeat itself. Environmentally, this is a non-starter. Boca Raton prides itself on being a steward of Florida's fragile ecosystems, yet this proposal guzzles 25,000 to 50,000 cubic meters of water in a closed circuit lagoon, relying on rainwater or gray water recycling. That sounds efficient on paper, but ignores the realities of our water scarce state. Evaporation losses, chemical treatments to keep the water swimmable, and the energy demands of pumping endless wells will spike our carbon footprint. And for what? A man-made beach and a
Ma'am, your time is up. Thank you.
Hi there. My name is Mary Alice Kindred. I live in Sandavans, and I really didn't want to speak tonight. I spoke last time we spoke with a lot of passion, and I want to come across as a peacemaker today. But as I come to this microphone, speaking of being a steward of kindness and compassion, The lady who spoke just before me said a profanity I won't say in front of these beautiful children to me. So I think there's a whole lot of hypocrisy going on here. A little bio. I took care of my dad with Alzheimer's. My husband became a nurse while he helped take care of my father because he fell. He had an accident as an electrician. He couldn't work anymore. He went to school, became a nurse. I love old people. I love all people. So I moved to Sandavance. We sold that house after my dad passed. And for those of you, and I'm looking at Sandavance people, because if you know me, and I know a couple of you, I am the person that goes around and helps my neighbors that need help, or walk their dog when they need help, or lift them up when they fall. That's who I am. But I also love children. And I just can't stand and sit back and listen to the hypocrisy tonight. South Florida is the capital of 55 and overs. I'm 56. And like my mom, if I'm to live till I'm 86, I don't want to live in an older community. I love children. I want to hear children laugh and scream till the day I die. If whatever is built there, and the other thing I couldn't let go is they did go through tons of work to address every single point that was brought up last time. But I feel like everyone came to the mic with the same script they had last week, the same threats. I don't know if anyone really looked at say the truth about Boca Surf Park and what they were going to do and the concessions they made. They want to work with you, whether it's accepted or not. My goodness, can't we be a role model for the future that we can work together, we can debate, we can talk to people? Don't discount the youth. That's our future. You don't want to see them on video games. You don't want to see, they say they don't socialize anymore. They don't give eye contact. You just want to stick them in front of a screen. So please, please, I understand, but please consider all of Boca Raton. And I do live in this community, and I'll move where this is in my backyard. I would love to look at this. Have you looked at the renderings, the aesthetics? It's beautiful. So whether you want it or not, and for those, one of my neighbors I'm close to here, and she's opposed to it. It has nothing to do with you. I love you, and if you need help, I will always be there for you. But I also am going to be here for the kids. I'm also always going to speak for the kids as a teacher first and foremost. And that's where my hope is with the future. So to my residents that are kind and compassionate, I'll do anything to work with you. But if you come up here and you're a hypocrite and you discount everything about children, the future, and your voice is the only one that matters, they do care about old people. I'm old. But listen, you got to show them, you got to want to make them come close to you and be with you and learn about you. You have a lot to share and a lot of wisdom to share. I hope their only memory of you is not a cantankerous person that doesn't want to hear them laugh and play. That's awful. So please consider what you said tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Miles Smith, 928 Southeast 14th Terrace. I was born and raised here, and I went to St. Andrew's School just down the street. Graduated from there, and a week later, I moved to California to pursue surfing because here in South Florida, we unfortunately did not have any adequate surf. But our group of friends and community and everybody that we spent time with, all the surfers in the community, we would drive 2.5, 3 hours on the drop of a dime to surf a wave that was foot in height. We are severely surf starved here in South Florida, and there's a lot of positives that come from surfing in the greater community. And it provided a lot of positives in my life, and I know it would provide a lot of positives for the future generations to come. And I think you would make Florida is already one of the epicenters in the world for surfing. We have some of the most successful surfers of all time from Florida. And I think the South Florida community specifically would churn out that talent and produce it specifically if we get this wave pool. And I want to talk about, the reason I moved home from California was to be home, to raise my kids here, because it's a beautiful community. Boca Raton has incredible parks, and I always applaud them at the way that they run their parks, their permitting system and everything. And I want to say that I think I'm going to share the similar sentiment to the previous speaker, that I think the decision, in this room, it may feel like it's more balanced with the opposition, but as the greater community of Boca and the greater community of the world, there are far, far more people that would benefit from this. So I want people to kind of take that internal perspective and to think about beyond yourself, beyond how you feel about this being in your backyard. But I want you to think about what the perspective on a greater scale for the entire world would be, because we are a hub in our area for many countries. I see the success of this surf park very clearly. I have absolutely no doubt I would invest my own money into it without any concern because of my lived experiences. And, I do, understand your thoughts about it being in your backyard and everything. But again, I'm going to urge you to kind of think beyond yourselves and also look into the studies related to golf courses and the negative health effects of them as well. There's a lot more coming out about that. So I would encourage you to do something positive with this land, both for the surf park and the other portions of it too. I think recreation and things for the youth are very valuable. So that would be how I'd encourage you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, my name is David Fleischman. I'm 155 Northwest 70th. I live right there, Hidden Valley. I got so excited when I heard you guys were considering this. These surf parks are amazing. If any of us who have seen them, they're beautiful, they're well run. They've answered a ton of questions about noise and the things they can do to ameliorate it. I can go and drive by any of 100 golf courses in South Florida. I grew up here. The options there. I get it, Boca Chica's right there, but the Not in My Backyard is not happy with anything there. A lot of people want the status quo, which is an overgrown mess. You don't want to wait 8, 10 more years to put it on the back burner. I don't mean that in a bad way, but you want to put something there for recreation. That's the purpose of the area. You have someone willing to invest so much money and create something amazing. Yeah, very excited to hear you're considering it. I hope you go through with it. So.
Thank you.
Hello, Amy DeZarmo. I grew up here. My home address is 22612 Southwest 54th Avenue, Boca Raton. When I was a kid, I'm almost 50, so I'm not in the young group, but I grew up surfing here. Just recently, when I was at the beach, I was picking up medical waste to throw it in the garbage. So the surfing conditions and the beaches here aren't as pristine as they should be. I've come from a family of beekeepers and master gardeners. And anytime there's green space conversation, I am interested. So I reached out to Shane, and he's a very thoughtful man. And I spoke to him for roughly an hour about keystone trees, if they had the opportunity. So the people who are thinking that this is going to be like environmentally terrible, let me just say is that we're having conversations about keystone species of trees and plants. And there is a lot of plans to make the property beautiful and lush, better than what it is now. Also, where I live, I'm surrounded by golf courses, and I have a huge property. I'm a gardener, so I planted like probably 30 trees, and I have vegetable gardens and things like that. I require a lot of water on my own property. I won't use my free water from the canal. I pay for the water. Everybody in my neighborhood is getting cancer. And I have to say, we all know it comes from these golf courses and everything they're spraying. So for the people who think these golf courses are healthy, I am telling you, I am paying for my water because I refuse to water my grass with the same water that is running off of these golf courses. Also, all of these golf courses, at some point, they fail. And then the next thing you get are more condos. I'm from here. And at what point do you do for the locals instead of the people who are moving in? I'm from here. I've been living in my same house for over 25 years. Okay, I pay taxes and I'm not youth. I don't even surf anymore. I can't. But I want this for the people. I don't want another golf course. And you do have to think about the greater. You know, we are the greater, and we're the same people who didn't want, building on the agricultural reserve. So these are the things. By the way, and so that's why I wanted to say that to the people, is that this is thoughtful and it's going to be beautiful and environmental. What you have, golf courses are not clean. It's not healthy to live near them, and they're going to be developed. I almost died, by the way, when you guys said that you had concerns of traffic. Since when? Since when? Did you see, have you seen my drive to work, and I'm a business owner, I'm a manufacturer, 20 minutes used to be, now it's 40. So give me a break about the traffic. That's all I gotta say.
Just in our defense, it's mostly city that is in charge of the traffic. So it's not Beach and Parks that's in charge of traffic. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. My name is Anthony Arnaud, and I'm at 6161 Northwest Second Avenue, Boca Raton. I'm an avid fisherman, avid snorkeler, boater, beachgoer. Been a resident in Boca for 11 years, Boca Chica resident, homeowner for 7 years, local business owner in Boca for 4 years. I'm 29 years old. I'm not 55. I'm not 65. I'm not 75, and I don't want this in my backyard. They say that the actual park itself is not going to be noisy, but what's it going to sound like when they're building it? And how long are they going to take to build it? And how long am I going to have to deal with a big, ugly construction zone in my neighborhood? You're building a giant lagoon in a giant flood zone. I don't know if anybody was driving down Second last Sunday, but there were cars floating in the water that had to get towed out. So you're going to put a huge lagoon right on the side of the road. It's going to be a huge displacement of wildlife regardless. You're going to be ripping up the natural environment, and it is one of the most untouched and beautiful areas. It is not an overgrown, rundown field. I come out on my patio every day, and I'm thankful to look at the trees and see the sunset. It is gorgeous out there. And it just really kind of seems like a money grab at the end of the day. There's a market for this type of business in Boca. There are investors that, from the sound of their accent, don't live in this country and will not be directly affected by it at all. And it seems like at the end of the day, this park is going to benefit everybody around us, except for the people who are going to be affected by it the most, which are the people who live right next to it. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Hello, Chris, Boca Chica resident, 12 years. Just like Anthony, I live in the same building he does, 6161. I want to thank everyone for everything that you've done, all the commissioners, all the hard decisions, the thought process, all your work, as well as these guys as well. These guys are business owners. They did a creative idea. I've been in the exercise industry and sports for a long time, and I appreciate that idea very much. I think it's very valuable, but guess what? I live in Boca Chica, so I don't want it. Because I live in Boca Chica. I moved away from Broward County and Dade County, from all the congestion, from all the traffic, from all the noise. So I don't want it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Vivian Lesher, 100 Northeast Spanish Court. That's a block north of Palmetto, east of the Intercoastal, and a block and a half from the beach. I think this is a horrible decision to put something as commercial as this behind people's homes and condos. I know that neighborhood very well because when I moved down here almost 40 years ago, I lived in Banyan Courts, which is a neighborhood just to the north of Boca Chica. I used to play tennis on their tennis courts. I've been in my home now for almost 30 years. I raised my daughter here, and I would love to have had a facility like this when she was growing up. It's a wonderful idea, and I applaud you all for thinking about it. And for serving too. I mean, this is wonderful. You're listening to all of us. The other thing is, it's a commercial operation. It is totally wrong with the noise and the lights behind these people's homes. You're ruining the quiet enjoyment of their property. It is not right. And so it's a great idea, but it's at the wrong location. This is like a Boomers. It belongs someplace like where you've got Blue Boomers. Maybe if they're going to tear that theater down or some lot opens up there, maybe the Beach and Park District could acquire another piece of land and build this. It's a great idea. And I think, if they'd had it when my daughter was young, we certainly would have used it. My other concern is that this is being paid with the Boca Beach and Park District's taxes. Who's going to be using it? Is this going to be open to the whole community in Palm Beach County? People from Jupiter are going to be coming, and Broward and Pompano and Fort Lauderdale? And you're going to stick this in these people's backyards and ruin their quiet enjoyment of their property? That's completely wrong. You need to find another location for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Just for clarity, the Beach and Park District is not investing any money in this project. It's a P3, so it's their money, not tax money. So thanks. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Anna of 50 Southwest 3rd Ave. I see a lot of contradicting comments here. The same gentleman that was cheering the guy saying that it's going to be such an environmental impact is the same one that was suggesting a golf course there. So I just don't understand. I think there's a much bigger surfer community than what you guys are thinking. They're just not here to vouch for it. I didn't even know about this, but I made a point to come. to make sure, just because there's a lot of younger people involved. I've been teaching surfing for over 7 years and living in Boca as well. I've taught a lot of people over 60. I've taught a lot of kids, and I see the health impacts, the wellness impacts that it has on a community. As a matter of fact, I've been a part of a wellness program for surfing, and I see how that can affect a whole generation that would take a lot of advantage of it. And I think you guys are really speaking just for yourselves and not thinking of the community, although you're saying you are. But I do think that this man that had this proposal do have environmental concerns in mind. Surfers are actually very avid environmentalists. We do a lot of beach cleanup, so we do have that in mind. I don't think that they're disregarding that. And the sound concern that a lot of you mentioned, I don't know if you're at the beach and you ever seen people surfing. We're not really yelling for them. We're just doing our own thing. And I'm also from Brazil, where there are a lot of successful wave pools, and I've been to them, and I have a lot of friends that go to them. And you're saying about traffic issues, people really do go there for like an hour and leave. That's why we want the pool for. We want to be able to go exercise, do our sport, and, you know, move on with our lives. It's not an all-day plan. So it really is time slots that you go to, and it has few people for that time period, and then they go their own way. It's not what you guys are thinking. I think you have a really different idea of what it would look like having that there. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Chris. I'm at 50 Southwest 3rd Avenue, apartment 11, Boca Raton, Florida. Just wanted to keep it kind of short and sweet, I guess, if you will. I've been surfing here for all my life, almost 30 years. I've been surfing, and I've been teaching it for around 10 years now. And what I've actually been hearing, and this is what I wanted to address, is really all the people obviously on this side of the room are saying that we're not going to use it and we're not going to do this. Yes, based off of age, but I think really age is just a number. And I'm really saying this because I even last weekend did a lesson for a 62-year-old woman that had not surfed since she was like, I think like 9 or 10 years old, but barely surfed back then. And she absolutely loved it. She got up in the second or third time and it's just what my point is. It's one of the most beautiful sports that you can ever do. And even just if you're not doing it, just watching other people just in the present moment, loving what they're doing is a really awesome thing for these people to, I guess, experience if they're not wanting to do it, but also to try it. I mean, to keep your body moving. Like Shane said, doing even maybe a time of the day where they do aerobics, so water aerobics, or make it to where this community can be a part of it is my point. And I think that's really, really important for you guys to consider when you're making this decision, and for everybody speaking against it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Name's Jason Barber, 6191 Northwest 4th Avenue. My house is one of the ones that was up at the top of that map. I've been a surfer my entire life. I love surfing. All three of my kids know how to surf. I'm uniquely advantaged to know a bit about this. I'm a mechanical consulting engineer, and I was part of the evaluation of the Kelly Slater Surf Park in Jupiter. And they are careful to tell us how it uses less water than a golf course, and I'm quite sure it does. I'm sure it uses less chemicals. They're careful also not to tell us how much more electricity it uses. It's tens of thousands of times. That's a row of 500 to 1,000 horsepower motors. It's incredibly energy intensive to create a surfable wave. And for that reason, a couple other things that I think that they're leaving out, and I don't think these are my issues, but I want to make sure that maybe I could help empower everybody to ask the right questions. You know, what's the wattage of downlighting? A street light is 40 watts, LED street light. And so what's the total wattage of downlighting? And we can kind of think about how that compares. Sound does not cancel out other sound. When you add sound to sound, it's more sound. And unless you have incredibly advanced sound canceling technology, sound waves collide with each other and you get magnified peaks and you get canceled out areas, but it's the magnitude of those peaks that defines loudness. And never can you add sound to sound to make it quieter without advanced technology. That's not my issue either. I would love to surf on one of these. I think the technology is amazing. I would love for my kids to try it. I can't afford it. My kids can't afford it. Not until they are wildly more successful than I am. These parks are for the elite surfers and it's paid for by their sponsors that are big corporations. The Kelly Slater Surf Park, to surf for a day is $10,000 to $70,000 to have the whole park. If you want 12 waves, it's $400 to $600. That can be, depending on how good a surfer you are, $10 to $100 a second. So I urge you to get an answer to your question, is how much this would cost a family of four before anybody makes a decision. To me, that's the issue. This is not here for us. This is our green space and it's to serve a different community. A community I admire, a community I have once been part of, but it's not our community. No matter how old I get, I still will go surfing. I got to drive to a faraway place to get better waves. So be it. But if we did something like this, it should be somewhere where this entity could pay for it to generate the revenue that they deserve, and they did an amazing job. But not in our space that we own and that we paid for, that we were promised would stay green space, that would do something for our kids. And I appreciate the thought that we should do this for our kids, but my kids can't go there. I can't afford $600, for 12 waves, so that they can learn. I'm not going to be part of the disadvantaged group that's going to get a freebie. So I'm never going to get to use it. I'm just going to watch people use it. So that's all I have. Good luck. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
My name is Jordan Ross, 953 Southwest 13th Place, Boca Raton, Florida. 33486. Sorry. I need this park so I can go surfing. It's physically impossible for a Sasquatch to go surfing. I don't know. I physically have rented 12-foot, 14-foot boards and it doesn't work. I'm not about prejudice and segregation, but there's nothing for big people in Boca. But I think a lot of the reason that there's not a lot of families here because they're eating dinner. I left grilling to come here, family of four. I would like to see how many native Floridians are here. How many natives? Okay. I'm a third generation from Florida with a fourth generation in Boca. I was a part of a generation where my relatives were trying to get a fourth and fifth story building in downtown Boca. And they said, no, laws and rules are made to be shaped and broken for the times. Do you want Boca to be known for condominiums and people with opinions, the condo commandos that like to bicker and fight? Or do you want it to be known for families, for your future, your actual future tax bracket to feed these things? I'm a landscaper. They want to talk about the health and stuff. Golf courses use millions and millions of gallons of water a night. All goes through the canals, all regenerated, all the fertilizer, thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds of fertilizer, herbicides. I don't even use herbicides at my own home. We do a lot of properties, but that stuff is toxic. It leaches. If you want to get the non-toxic stuff, you're going to blow your budget up by 10x. These people, from what I understand, are working at funding it themselves. They're not asking for a handout. And if you want to talk about Shane, he's got an adorable hair. He looks like Dirk Davinsky, right? Like, do you want somebody from New York coming down here? Do you want some big conglomerate coming down here, lining the pockets? I'm not going to say schmooze and schmeeny or anything like that, like old previous Boca historical stuff. Or do you want a guy who shows up every Saturday with a crew in another town? People say he doesn't live here. He lives here. He's in Boca, Deerfield, Delray, whatever. He's not a foreigner. Like, you want people who actually care about your actual community, your kids. This is a small margin that are trying to stop it. Like, that's the problem with society today too, right? So like, you have a small margin that dictates the whole country. The whole country's tired of being demarginalized by small numbers. You want kids getting off social media, suicide rates are up. You want Boca to be known for condo. Have you ever seen a pretty condo? No, the boards don't keep up with the maintenance. You got 40-year stuff. You got Surfside issues. Take a risk on them. At least give them another shot. I didn't hear anybody else, but I like you. Keep it open, keep it going, and I hope they do it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Jackie Glisman, 6250 Northwest 4th Avenue. And I have a couple concerns. The main one, you know that street that was shown on the slide, that's where I live. And most of my neighbors and myself do not have fences. How are you guys thinking about, it doesn't matter what you build, whether it's a golf course or anything else, from people parking on the street where I live and my neighbors live, from jaywalking, from just crossing our backyards and going straight into the whatever development is going to be. And that is a safety issue. Are you going to build a fence all around? Or it's just going to be bushes that people just can't go through, like coyotes? That is a main concern I have. And also regarding, some of you have already been in my house and have seen the bird sanctuary, all the different species of birds that live in that lake. And how is whatever development you do, it's going to affect the wildlife. Also, I've been living there for a number of years and just wanted you to make you aware that I am paying $13,000 a year on property taxes. I don't know how much more I'm going to have to pay for whatever you guys develop. So keep that in mind, because I'm not the only one. My friend Kathy, who is here also, she's paying $15,000. So I'm calling you for your kindness and be gentle to our pocket and the animals and our safety, because that is an open street. It doesn't have a gate. Anybody can walk in, can park there and just cross people's backyard and go to the park. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Matthew Barrelson. I live at 2871 North Ocean Boulevard. I live right on the beach, so I can see how bad the waves are. And I've had the great opportunity to surf one of these pools before, and the whole idea of noise is a little unrealistic in the sense that people think it's going to be so loud. From the parking lot, we couldn't even hear the waves from the session running. And this particular technology that was running is a lot less efficient than the one that's going to be used for Wave Garden. It uses compressed air. Yes, when you're right in the park, it's a bit loud, but when you step into the parking lot, you don't hear a thing. You just heard the birds. And this particular one was in Palm Springs, and it was truly a dream come true to surf that. And I've spoken to a lot of people of the demographic that are against it, and a lot of them wish that they got the chance to surf. And in Florida, it's very hard to surf, especially getting into it. It was very hard for me to get into it, especially because the community surrounding it at the time was a bit hard. But at the wave pool, everybody was smiling. There was one child there who was boogie boarding and surfing, and I don't think I've ever seen a kid so happy doing what I love to do as well. Like, that's what I want for my future generation and everybody else that's experiencing it. And a lot of people, I feel like, are not fully listening. A lot of people are ignoring the fact that they said that they're going to put in physical barriers. They're going to put rows of trees that'll block the visual side of it. A lot of things that are going to mitigate the noise. And speaking from experience, they're not nearly as loud as people think. Like they said, they're going to put trees, they're going to put physical barriers. I believe that they're going to put cameras and gate on that road. It's not just anyone can waltz in there. It's a lot more thought out than they think, and it's going to be a very secure operation. And speaking from experience, I want nothing more than for people to have the same joy that I had. I was so lucky to experience when I was surfing that wave pool. They have this wave pool in Virginia, right in a very residential area. Ironically, theirs is right next to the beach. But I have heard nothing but people be like, "Oh, I want to go to the surf park." And it's a lot more affordable than people think. If you look at their website, it's a lot less money. If you're comparing this to the Kelly Slater Park, that is an exclusive park that companies do pay for people to go and, you know, for schmooze and stuff. But that's not just open to the public, really. The one in Norfolk, Virginia is $130 for a session, and that's an hour. And you get, I'm pretty sure, around 40 waves, which is literally unreal compared to what you can experience in the ocean pretty much anywhere. So that's all I have to say. And I just think people should listen a little bit more. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Brennan McCarthy, 274 Northeast Court, Boca Raton. Been surfing my whole life. I've been teaching surf lessons for about 10 years. I work with children, disabled children. I've done surf lessons with Island, and just seeing the look on kids' faces when they catch their first wave, and not even just children, just anybody of all ages. Really, mental health wise, it's changed my life. I know it changes a lot of other people's lives. I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet. Just keep it at that.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Angela Mazie. 242 Northwest 64th Street is my address. I live in the North Park community, and I would like to just ask a couple of other questions. You know, is this wave pool heated? What extra resources is it going to take to do that? I think if it's not going to be heated, you're going to have less people that would like to use it. And also, if this is such a great proposal for the community, why hasn't it been done with private investors in other areas that are available for purchase of land? I mean, why does it have to be in the beaches and parks? I understand it's because you put out an RFP, but how come it wasn't done 5-10 years ago if you have all these investors that are going to get their money back within 18 months? You know, and who's paying for that? The Norfolk, Virginia park, I watched videos about it. You know, a man posted that he flew up there just to surf that park and cost him about $150. Well, I have a family of 4. We live there. We don't want to have to pay $150 every weekend for one of the kids to be able to surf for an hour. You know, we want a place where we can enjoy, that we can walk to. We are the ones paying the taxes and we want to enjoy it. I understand it's going to be beneficial for the entire beaches and park district, but you know, we drive to the other parks now. We go to the new covered pickleball facility. That's $10. We can do that. You know, that's something that I think when you look at your proposals, the ranking of the 7 proposals that you had some things to be desired on how that process was done. And so I think coming back and having an idea of what you want to see there, what the residents want to see there, and have a vote from the residents, not the people who live in the rest of the county, but the people who are part of the district, what they think that they need. Remember in 2018 or 2019, there was a mailed survey that came to my home in the city of Boca that asked what amenities that I wanted to see. And I think that was a helpful, useful way to find things out from the people in the tax paying bracket, and not having a circus of people from Miami, you know, Martin County, other places who aren't going to have this lifelong effect, because if they decide that's too expensive, I don't want to be there, they just go elsewhere. You know, they go to the beach for the free surf lessons. I think if you're wanting to help all the disabled students and all that, I think the free lessons are helpful, because those people have a little less resources. Thank you. And I'm sorry you've had to endure such a hard time with this decision.
Hello, Robert Duquette, 5351 Northwest 3rd Terrace. I want to thank Bob, Susie, and Steve for your support in realizing that this is not a compatible feature for North Park. The residents should not have to endure this. I can tell you that looking at the facts, a lot of people here don't realize that you guys did a complete citywide survey and public input back in 2022. You approved your own consultants survey. Top 6 things on your survey as far as priorities: trails, golf course, nature preserve, golf training facility, open green space, and a community center and recreation center. There's actually 20 different things. Those are the top 6. There was no golf course. I'm sorry, there was no surf park. There was a golf course as the number 2 item on here. So again, let's get the facts straight. These have been your priorities. Aaron, you certainly saw your video of you talking to the city council.
It was a snippet of a video, and I have a comment at the end of this
November
meeting about it.
2022,
Yep.
about you were talking to Scott Singer,
Yep.
and you were in full support of the golf that was in there. That's exactly what it said.
I was in full support of the conceptual master plan, and there's a difference between a conceptual master plan and an actual master plan. I'm not going to go into this with you right now. I have a comment at the end. Please continue.
So for the last 3 years, there's been no comments about a surf park. And Aaron, did you talk to the surfers before it ever became an RFP?
I don't have to answer your
Oh,
questions right
so
now.
you don't want to answer that question.
Excuse me?
Okay. So again, I think that one of the things that Steve Engel pointed out that I think is so accurate, this whole RFP having that open up to anything was really been a problem. You had in your conceptual master plan specific items that you had that you could have said, okay, let's put the gymnasium on this corner. Let's put the golf course here. You had it all set out. So if you got an RFP for specific items, that made sense. Aaron, I agree with you. I agree with Steve that you both indicated that you would like to see the district have the four field to actually have your own gym and your own field house. There's plenty of room for that there, instead of having to pay more by having a third party do it. So again, I agree with both Aaron and Steve. on that.
Time is up. Thank you.
Hello there. I'm not as well spoken as everyone here, so please bear with me. My name is Roman Strominger. I'm a local resident, 1059 Southwest 13th Place, Boca Raton, Florida, husband, father of 2. I recognize tensions run high regarding decisions being made today to impact the community of tomorrow. I'm here solely to offer my personal testimony and offer another perspective. I've had the opportunity to grow up here in South Florida and was dealt a hand in life that would have led to a much different path had I not encountered this community of people. I stumbled into this group of individuals that use physical activity, safe environments, and water sports as an outlet to connect our youth with all generations and diverse people. I've had the opportunity to be literally raised by this community alongside a generation of people that have transformed from lost preteens to now adults with children of their own. Those people that were once invested in are now invested in back into the same community to continue to make a difference. I don't think they're looking to build an amusement park here. They're not. Please consider another perspective and view this as a safe environment to people of all ages to gather as a community and to enjoy life. Personally, I'm involved with Boca baseball, flag football, tennis, pickleball, the YMCA, golf, and many other organized activities. This is what makes the city so great, being able to work and play right in your own backyard. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
My name is Harold Chaffee. I'm the 6200 Northwest Second Avenue. I'm the president of Keep Golf of Boca. I think that you made the right decision. This does not belong here. We have no objection to a surf park. It's a beautiful idea. It's a great place for kids to enjoy themselves, to have a good time. This is not the area to do it. The reason why they're here also is because you are giving them the land. The land is worth more than the whole damn project is. So you're giving up, I don't know how many millions of dollars for that land. If they had to buy the land and put a wave park where it never exists, they would never do it. It would cost them almost $100 million, $150 million. The object is basically, like I said, is that it's really not suited for the area. I'm glad that I've come to this meetings for 12 years, okay? And I'm finally seeing this, people have dialogues. You're supposed to talk to one another when you come here. It's open. The only time you can converse with each other. You're finally asking people the question, or you're asking each other the question you should have asked a long, long time ago, and not be sheep and just go along with everything that's going on. This is crazy. It doesn't make sense. Even when you were making the decision, 3 years didn't want to make the decision. You wanted to they said, well, we're not really to make the decision. 2 years were aggressive, said, oh, we're ready to make a decision. You didn't even talk about anything. Didn't discuss it, didn't talk. You put yourselves in the hole. You know, you just need to talk about more of the things, open up and tell each other what you think and the problems and the mistakes and the challenges with this. You know, I don't really see this thing succeeding. I really don't. There are so many factors involved here. You know, every time I think about it, I think about the water evaporation. I'm talking about the electricity, the cost of it. Everything's going to go up. I'm talking about hurricanes. I'm talking about school children can't be there. It won't be operational. They'll be at school. There's so many factors involved in this thing. You know, everybody talks about being a success. It's crazy. The second thing is, with all the amenities that they said, okay, it's going to be programmed in, programmed out. People come an hour or basically come for a time of the schedule. No, in the article that was thrown in the newspaper, they said that basically it was going to be people could come do that, but then hang around for 2 or 3 hours. They're going to hang around for 2 or 3 hours. That backlogs the whole thing. You know, there's so much, like I said, you need to really research what this is all about. It's not just an in and out. That's cocky. You know, it's crap. All right. If you were to just take the residents of the city, just the residents here, okay, would that support the park? And it probably wouldn't. It can't. They have to go outside people. It has to be a tourist. People have to come from all over to come in. Otherwise, it's not profitable at all. All they want to do is make enough money to cover the expenses. If they brought only 40 people an hour, okay, at 80, I wouldn't even pay the help for the day. So it's some of it's not true. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Barbara Simons. I live at 330 Northwest 67th Street, apartment 107. That is in the Sandavans community. We are original owners. We've owned it since 1994. We built it from blueprints and we used it for vacation purposes. And then unfortunately, couple of weeks after my dad, who actually put his name on the deed, purchased it, he passed away. And so it was left to my sister and myself, and we used it for vacation purposes. And 10 years ago, she no longer wanted this condo to be shared with me, and she wanted to be up on A1A. So I bought her out, and we moved down here from Long Island. We lived on the North Shore of Long Island. It was very peaceful. We had water views. It was beautiful. And we moved down here because we had been coming here for so many years, and we loved the skies and we loved the bird song that just doesn't stop. It's to be serenaded by these birds is such a joy. And I always kid around and tell people that, you know, it's the skies, the beautiful skies. The weather is, of course, crazy, and it's the birds. And I'd like to say that as I'm going up Northwest 2nd Avenue and I see the large green grass and the banyan trees, I always think to myself, is that going to be enlarged at some point? And now I see that there was some kind of a plan where it was kept as green space so that if the road had to be enlarged, it could be. Now, with the plans that hopefully are going by the wayside for the surf park, even though I've spoken with Shane, he's a lovely person, he's really sweet, we've spoken a couple of times. But I feel that the huge amount of time it took to build the extension over 95 and what happened with the traffic and what would happen with Clintmore and then Jeffrey, which ends. But lo and behold, on Federal Highway, there's Jeffrey again. And once they bring it through, that will become such a highway going from east all the way to west. And it'll be all around us. And Northwest Second will become 4 lanes and it'll be chaos and crazy. And all day long, we'll be hearing children screaming with joy. I have 5 grandchildren myself. I have a 56-year-old son and a 51-year-old son. So it's not as though I don't understand ageism and ages and everything. I know I'm finished. But I just want to say, I do understand, but please respect the fact that we want to have a little sky and peace and quiet a little bit. Okay.
Thank you. Brian, give me 1 second.
Of course.
Commissioners, is it okay if we extend this public request to include the softball so that they can start lining up? They've been very patient. Is that okay? Commissioners, is that okay? Yeah? Okay. They're probably starving and
Without objection,
without objection,
proceed.
we're going to proceed.
Correct.
So
You have the
let them
gavel.
talk, okay? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brian.
Good evening, Brian Stenberg, 1026 Southwest Fifth Street.
Please keep the talk down. Thank you.
I live a few blocks to the east. Behind my house to the property line is about 20 feet. And then 20 feet beyond that is the back of my neighbor's house. And what I wouldn't do to have 250 feet between my house and his house or whatever else would possibly be there. I stand here in support of the Boca Surf Park. I think I've come before this board before to speak out against ideas that I thought were terrible, such as putting an elementary school here at Sugar Sand Park many years ago. I think this situation is a little different. I think, you know, when people talk about the impact that it's going to have on home values in the area, I don't think anybody really knows. Even the guys that were on the screen before said, oh, it'll definitely have an impact, a positive one. We don't know that, but I will say this. I know a lot of people who are absolutely insane about surfing, and they have enough money that they would be happy to live near a surf park and purchase the properties from a lot of the folks that are worried about what it's going to do to their value. So my thinking, and I've been in real estate for the last 31 years or so, and I think I know a little bit about real estate, and I know that certain things in proximity to other things sometimes have an effect and sometimes don't have an effect. So if anybody comes up here and definitively says it's going to be a positive or a negative, they really don't know. So I would just keep that in mind. The second point I wanted to make is that the private partner in this proposal is going to pay taxes. They're going to pay the same 1.08 mils that I paid today for my taxes. And it's the same 1.08 mils that you all are going to pay. And so I kind of like the idea that you would bring in a partner who's actually going to help offset some of the cost of what we all pay as taxpayers for this particular property and for all the greater Boca Raton Beach and Park District properties. In addition, this entity, the private entity, will also pay taxes to the city of Boca Raton, Palm Beach County, the South Florida Water Management District, the school district of Palm Beach County, the state of Florida, and on and on. In addition to utility taxes, and they're going to collect sales tax. There's all this. It's like a tax tsunami, if you will. So I would say that I wouldn't be so quick to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And Commissioner Rollins, you know I love you dearly. And I respect you, and I respect everything you've put into this effort. And I would be on Commissioner Ernst's side with this one. And again, thank you all for your time tonight. Thank you for your patience too.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Sean Stanton, 1320 Southwest 5th Street. That's here in the Boca Raton. I want to take a moment here just to address more of a theoretical and philosophical perspective. If you but please just indulge me for a moment. Or a minute and a half. I'm not a surfer and I'm not a skateboarder, okay? I'm a PhD who happens to enjoy surfing and enjoy skateboarding. And I think we should be mindful of some of the semantics we use because we're painting a divisive picture. I just want to put that out there. Every morning I wake up and watch hundreds of cars pass by my front door in the car line to Addison Meisner Elementary. Now, I can choose how I'm going to respond to this, and I choose to be grateful as opposed to angry. I choose to demand of myself how this is a blessing and a gift as opposed to falling into the shortcomings of negative emotional self. Do people who live on the beach complain of lifeguards, kids playing, an occasional lifeguard whistle, the sound of the waves? I don't think so. And I know this because I lived on the beach as Batmazian came in and tore down the apartment, and my wife of 8 months pregnant had to walk 5 stories to get to our apartment. We didn't choose to be hateful and angry. Instead, we addressed what the initial true issue is, and that's fear. This isn't about a surf park. This is about change. As a doctor in mental health in Boca for over 30 years, every person in this room who is angry is advised, with your own free will, to question themselves about what about this project scares you? Because that fear is a distortion and most likely false. Just as the fears for those who say yay to the surf park and are influenced by distortions of losing power and control. This is about having power and control versus loss of power and control, again, from a philosophical perspective. And I wonder if every nay to the water park or surf park received a sack of funds on their front doorstep, would they still be as resistant to this process of change? The benefits of this project seem to far outweigh the assumed hazards from what I've heard. And from what I've heard, all, if not most of the concerns have been addressed, and yet there is still resistance. Think forward, not backwards, okay? This is about change. It's also about a fear of a small and incremental change that would ultimately increase the value of the city and thus your personal and economical, psychological wealth. Look, change is the motivating force of the universe here, folks, all right? And people that resist it by definition become maladaptive. Let's think forward instead of backward. There's opportunity here, folks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Christopher Warren, 2250 Boca Raton, Florida, or Boca 2250 Cherry Palm Road, Boca Raton, Florida. I'm a little offended by all the folks that just say kids like to surf. I'm 62. I started surfing about 6 years ago during COVID, and I get after it anytime I can. I go out with my son. So this is not just about kids, okay? I've got a successful business, and guy in my office surfs. He lives in Boca Raton too. There's plenty of people that are local that surf that aren't here that would enjoy this amenity. Also, huge fan of Greater Boca Raton Beach and Park District. The work that you have done over the years to create the community that Boca is unbelievable. It makes Boca what it is. All the parks on the beach, again, huge. You have another opportunity with this one too. I know it's a little scary. I can appreciate many of the concerns of the residents. But, you know, it isn't the first time you've gotten heat. When back when I lived on Olive Way, Riviera Civic Association, where you guys wanted to improve the Red Reef Golf Course. And the residents in the Sun and Surf were opposed. But you know what? You didn't back down. You went ahead and you kept moving forward, and eventually that improvement happened. You put the trail on top of the dune. They didn't want that. They thought it'd attract undesirables. It's crazy. I ride my bike on that, not permitted, of course, about once or twice a week, okay? But I'm doing that. The other thing is, you guys had a process. You set a process going forward for this. You had 8 people present, and then you ranked them. And now you're gonna throw that out because you get some heat? That just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, you can't just like change it up because you get some heat. Where do we stand? Listen, the last couple of folks have talked about setbacks. I'm in Royal Palm. Setbacks, I mean, yeah, beautiful neighborhood, but there's people on people. Every day I don't know how many flat tires I had due to construction. You're living in a beautiful place. It's what happens. Development happens. The other thing is, who's paying for the care of this land? So everybody can have a beautiful, peaceful bird, sanctuary in their backyard. Who's paying for the upkeep? I think we are. The total citizens of Boca Raton are paying for this. And so my point is, you put that team through a lot, okay? And now all of a sudden you're going to pull the rug out. I understand, Bob, what you're thinking here, that, hey, you don't want to go any further if you're not going to go. But they have worked with the community, trying to reach out. And now you're just going to say, no, pull it. No, I disagree with the motion made. It should not carry. You should vote it down. Stick to your process.
Thank you.
Tim Lane, 114 Asbury Way, with an admittedly pro Boca Surf Park comment. And just like the gentleman was speaking before, we fear what we don't understand. I've been trying to put myself in the shoes of the residents there this entire time and understand. If I had the concept of a Saturday afternoon pool party, right, with kids blowing their whistles and so forth, the best analogy I can use is imagine a saltwater gym, right? You are there for an hour and a half getting out and not spending extraneous time. There are some hopefully unique benefits that this project brings to it, right? And I apologize if I'm echoing some things that you heard. Additionally, working in mental health, the amount of screen time that all of us, not just our children, face these days and the long-term detriments are just becoming known. To have something unique in our backyard that encourages kids to put things down for an hour is something that doesn't exist other places in the country. I had the experience of being one of the surf instructors for an organization called Surfers for Autism. You guys may have heard of it. It gives another safe area for that to occur in order for those kids to be there. That doesn't exist anywhere else, right? One of the other unique perspectives, and I'll end with this, is I've had the pleasure of being friends with a couple of developers for over 2 decades, right? And I think, as was said, we can probably agree on one thing, and that, change is inevitable, right? And one of the other unique things that this project brings to the table is the fact that you have some developers that are willing to do things like on a Sunday, go down to where the residents are, park, and hear what their concerns are, right? They're willing to go down and have a dialogue. They're willing to show up when it counts and hear and do surveys in regards to traffic concerns, in regards to noise concerns. This is not going to go on without contention, without disagreement. But if there can be understanding and open dialogue, it can happen without as much headache. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. Wayne Whitfield, 5620 Northwest 3rd Terrace. Just want to thank you all for your services, first and foremost. Like to just start first by bringing to the attention a correction that needs to be for the record from last meeting. Brianne had presented a summary of proposals in a presentation, and I just want to just make it clear that the Boca Sports and Entertainment Fieldhouse presentation was not going to be an indoor/outdoor project. There was no indication of outdoor anywhere in that presentation. It was only indoor. That facility was a 40,000 square foot indoor facility, approximately 5 acres. 4 indoor basketball courts, 6 indoor volleyball courts, 4,000 square feet of indoor turf. The only thing that was mentioned outside of that facility was a parking lot. So I just wanted to bring that to the attention. In addition, the solicitation summary that each vendor was to present or complete specified that they had to match what they were putting in this form to what was proposed. And it just even mentioned in the instructions that it is important that the summary information that they provide is exactly the same information contained in the proposal that they submitted. And here again, in this submission by Boca Sports and Entertainment, none of the facilities, I mean, none of the amenities that they were addressing were actually stating indoor to be consistent with their proposal. So that was not exactly described the same way, as well as not emphasizing the size of the land that was going to be utilized, which was the 5 acres. So I just wanted to bring that to the attention of everyone. And as well as the wave park, I'm still in favor of the green space, which it was originally planned for, instead of a bunch of concrete to hold water. If this idea of a wave park was such a great idea and going to bring, so much revenue and so much enjoyment, why hasn't it been placed somewhere in existence already in the South Florida area? How many other parks did you present this to, and why didn't they go with it? And, why does it have to be now in a residential place when it doesn't belong here? It belongs in a South County Regional Park where they have lots of land that's not behind people's homes. At what hours of the night is that going to be presented? Not once was your noise presentation mentioning anything about the screams that are going to be happening continuously, and the average scream is between 80 and 125 decibels. Compound that.
you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Bruce Smith. I live at 5710 Northwest Third Terrace, Tika Woods. I'm a Florida resident of 41 years. I've lived in Tika. We bought our home there 23 years ago to be on the golf course. I've been coming to meetings, first time I've spoken for the last 10, 12 years. After many meetings and including going and putting dots on maps on the walls, and the residents of the area voted, I thought, for what everybody wanted. And I think it was walking trails and golf were the top 2 things. The park district spent over $1 million for that survey to be done. And that was supposed to be what was going to happen. And all of a sudden, 2 years ago, when that decision was done, everything's changed. The number one thing that everybody, I feel, wants is golf, walking trails, green space. No one voted for a surf park or even a field house. That if you go back and look at all the voting, nobody voted for a surf park. It wasn't even on the agenda. And a field house, you keep saying field house, nobody voted for that. And you go back and look at the drawings and what everybody voted for, nobody voted for a field house, not one person. Now, I know you want a field house and there's a need for it, but I also feel that if there is a field house, it should be owned by Parks District, not a third-party company. This is a residential neighborhood. Something like this needs to be put in Orlando or somewhere where there's a lot more space. This is nothing. This is not for Boca residents. It's for pay to play. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chris Payne, 1023 Southeast 14th Drive. Very interesting turn of events and temperature at this evening's meeting. A lot of emotion, which I understand, but it seems to me that the emotion has taken away from the facts. The Boca Surf Park has provided a traffic study, an environmental impact study, a clean water study. They've given everybody all the insights and the information that they need. And yet we still have some individuals that, by experts, by qualified engineers, right? Guys with degrees. And we're up against angry people that somehow have maybe won over or swayed the commission against the actual facts. What we saw on that board tonight were facts. That's the science. Trust the science. These guys spend millions of dollars to develop this technology. To dismiss it or to speak over it out of personal opinion, to me, seems insane. You've got a situation here where a business is going to invest $50 million into your city on their own, And who's going to invest it is a third generation local. The Cottrell families came to Boca Raton in the 50s. This is not an out of towner. This is not someone who wants to be inclusive, exclusive. They want to build this park for everyone to be able to participate in, to make the city and the state money, and to make the lot a better place. I mean, what it is now is a place that everybody's arguing over. There's no real plan for it. There's nothing happening. This is a plan. This is a reality. This is direction. This is progression for the city of Boca. And quite frankly, it may be irresponsible for the city to pass on this because it's an incredible opportunity. I mean, you're talking about millions of dollars of revenue that comes into your economy from locals and from tourists out of town. I feel like it's a disservice to shut this down and to dismiss it without giving it some more time, more thought. So thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you.
Hi, guys. Greg Galana, 1780 Parkside Circle South. I am president of the Boca Golf Association, and I also run the Boca Golf League with over 150 residents that play. Haven't seen you guys in a while. Thank you for all you do. What you guys do is thankless. People on both sides of the aisle show up and yell at you, and you come back every other week. Appreciate it. I don't think there's anybody in this room that is opposed to the surf park. I think it's fair to say that. I think that just the conditions and the location are suspect, and people are concerned with that. Golf is growing leaps and bounds. There are no golf courses in the city of Boca. No public access golf courses in the city of Boca. That's a fact, okay? The Boca Raton Golf and Racquet Club is city-owned and operated, and they are presently at capacity. They have no room for additional people. Red Reef is a mess, poorly run, and needs complete renovation. Neither are conducive to young kids or the aging population that are growing rapidly. Tee times are sold out for the foreseeable future. This year, the fiscal year is ending right now. There are 55,000 rounds that have been played at Boca Raton Golf and Racquet Club, and they're generating over $4.3 million. So again, I don't begrudge those of you who want a surf park. I think it's a great idea. I just think the location, the timing, and the public-private partnership is very suspect. I applaud Bob for his motion, and I hope you guys move forward before this meeting's over and vote on it. Thank you again for all you do.
Yeah.
We're going to change gears a little bit now after all the surf talk and try and focus on a little bit of softball.
My name is Taylor Hennessy and I play rec and travel softball. I've been playing since I was almost 4 years old. I'm writing to ask you if you could please build a new sports complex with better softball fields in our city. Right now, our fields are uneven, they flood easily, and there is not enough space for all the teams that want to practice. This fall, it rained a lot. The fields were muddy for days, so we had to cancel a lot of practices and games. It's really hard to get better when we don't have a good place to play or practice. Softball means a lot to me because it's not just about hitting and catching. It teaches me teamwork, confidence, and discipline. I've learned how to work hard and never give up, even when it's tough, but it's hard to keep improving when our fields don't have the things we need, like batting cages and areas to work on pitching. If our city built a new sports complex, it would help players like me keep growing, learning, and loving the game even more. Thank you so much for listening to me read my letter. and everything you do for the city. I really hope you'll think about building the new softball field so kids like me can could keep chasing our dreams. And
Thank you. My name is Lauren Hennessy. My address is 1555 Southwest 4th Circle, Boca Raton, Florida, 33486. And I'm here tonight as the proud parent of 2 sons and a daughter, 3 young athletes who play a number of sports in this community, one of them being softball. I stumbled into the world of softball when my daughter was 3 years old and BRSA was offering free T-ball. Never having played the sport myself, I thought it would be a fun way to explore a new opportunity for my daughter at no cost to me. My daughter is now 9 years old and has played in every fall and spring season since I first signed her up. Last year, she made the travel team and is currently a member of the Bolts 10U Purple team, in addition to the member of the recreational program. Her love and commitment for the sport has us spending a considerable amount of time at the current fields at Memorial Park. Having sons and a daughter, I can see the glaring differences in the opportunities provided to the boys and the girls in the city of Boca Raton. My sons play and train in multiple facilities that include amenities such as bleachers, scoreboards, batting cages, and now the construction of bullpens due to a generous $1 million donation from the city. But then there's my daughter. She has the same passion, the same dedication, the same drive, yet her team practices on fields that are uneven and flood at the sight of any amount of rain. There are no bleachers on the first base sideline of Memorial South, no batting cages, no scoreboards. When the weather conditions are not ideal, practices and games are canceled and they go home early. Not because the girls lack heart, it's because they lack resources. Our daughters deserve better. They deserve a state-of-the-art complex where they can train safely, compete proudly, and dream just as big as the boys. This isn't about taking away from anyone. It's about investing equally in all of our youth. Building a new facility for our girls isn't just an act of fairness. It's a statement about who we are as a community. It tells every young girl here that her efforts matter. Her future matters. Her city stands behind her. Let's make sure our daughters know they are worth every bit as much as our sons. For those of you that vote no or oppose the complex, I invite you to look at these little girls in this room and the girls that are out on the field and tell them that they do not matter as much as the boys of this town and don't deserve equitable facilities. Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Bree and I live in Boca Square. I'm 9 years old and I live and play softball right here in this beautiful city, Boca Raton. I have played every season since I was 4, when I started in T-ball, and now I play in 10U. I love softball. It's my favorite thing in the world. I'm here tonight because we really need more softball fields right now. There aren't enough for all the girls' teams. We're often sharing fields, which doesn't allow us to get enough practice time. We can't work on everything we need to because we only get the infield for parts of practice. Then we must move to the outfield. We just want a space to call our own. The fields we do have, well, let's just say they've seen better days. Our dugouts are rotting and very outdated. The clay is so hard that the balls bounce and take a crazy hop. Sliding into home plate is very fun. It always ends with scrapes and bruises from landing on a surface that feels like concrete. We just want fields that are safe and made for softball, like we deserve. Let's talk about batting cages, or actually the lack of them. It's 2025. You would think a city like Boca Raton would have batting cages by now. It's hard to practice hitting and timing without them. I'm over here just trying not to hit the ball into my mom's car in the parking lot. We need fields that include batting cages. I'm here tonight because we deserve new fields, a place we can call home and be proud to play at. Softball teaches us how to work hard and be confident and never give up. I don't give up on the field. I won't give up on my voice. That we desperately need 4 new fields at Sugar Sand Park. Please do the right thing for girls' sports. Build the fields we deserve because we and all the other young girls out there are the future of Boca Raton.
Hi, I'm Morgan Caverly, and I've been playing softball since I was 5 years old. My question is, why can't girls have softball fields like the boys' baseball fields? We do not have enough fields. Every season, some girls can't play because we do not have enough fields for more teams. I think that all girls should be able to play this great game. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lily Cooper, and I live at 3240 Equestrian Drive in Boca Raton. I play rec and travel softball, and every day I play. I feel happy. I love my team, I love my coaches, and I love when my family comes and watches me and cheers me on. Softball is my favorite thing. I always loved this sport no matter what, but right now our fields are not great. We don't have batting cages, the bathrooms are weird to use, and the fields aren't safe. One of my friends even broke her wrist. Even I have to keep playing like that, I will, but I really hope I don't have to. I want to feel proud of where I play. I want fields that are safe and nice, just like the boys have. My teammates and I deserve good fields too because we work so hard and softball is growing a lot. Please build us real fields, not just fix up old ones. We need our 4 fields together so we could play and practice safely. Thank you for listening and supporting girls in sports. I love softball so much and I hope you help us keep loving it even more.
Double-sided. Hi, City Council members. My name is Diana Cooper. I live at 3240 Equestrian Drive with that girl. I want to begin by acknowledging the concerns that have been raised by Save Boca. I understand the desire to protect green space and to avoid increased traffic near one's home. If something threatened a place that mattered deeply to me and my family, I would speak up. Those feelings are fair. However, great cities look toward the future and build in thoughtful, community-minded ways. This also can apply to the surf park. The brush area at Sugar Sand Park is not one of the most used or well-maintained natural spaces. Our city is fortunate to have many beautiful parks and trails, and I say this as someone who is a runner and has visited nearly every single trail in Boca, literally. This particular section of Sugar Sand is not serving the community to its fullest potential. Imagine transforming that underutilized land into a place where young girls can play a sport they love, where families can gather, cheer, and build memories. Imagine the pride of living near a park that actively supports equity in youth sports, giving girls the same quality of facilities that the boys have long enjoyed. Yes, there will be cars and traffic at times, but inside those cars are parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and excited young athletes on their way to play. This is not a burden. It is a privilege for a community to support its children. Softball is a rapidly growing sport. If we simply fix up outdated fields that are already insufficient, we will only find ourselves needing to build again soon. It is smarter and more fiscally responsible to invest now in the right facilities that will serve our community for years to come. Safe fields with proper draining, batting cages, and room for our girls to grow in confidence, strength, and teamwork. I invite you to come out to our fields this week at Memorial, where literally there has been feces of homeless people outside the dugout, for our championship games, and see these girls play. See their passion. All we want is the opportunity for them to have fields that match their dedication and their dreams. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Harper Gogan. I came here before to talk about softball. I wanted to speak again because this really means a lot to me. I've been playing softball since I was 4 years old, and I love it so much. I want to keep growing up in this sport. I want to get better, make new friends, and one day maybe even help teach little girls like me how to play. But right now, it feels like the boys have way more baseball fields than we don't have as many places for softball. I think girls deserve the same chances to play and practice whenever they want to, not just when there's a team practice. My mom and dad always tells me that change can be hard, and I'll be honest, I don't really like change that much. But they also tell me that in life, change is going to happen, and what matters most is how we handle it. That's how we grow stronger. So even though some people don't want these new softball fields, I think this kind of change is a good thing. It's a change that helps kids like me have safe, happy places to play and dream big right here in our city. Thank you for listening again and caring about girls like me who just want to play the game we love. Good evening. My name is Maddie Broker and I am 9 years old. Thank you for all the parks you take care of in Boca Raton. My family plays at them all the time. I'm here to ask you, please approve the softball fields at Sugar Sand Park. Right now, our softball fields are old and not very safe. The grass is bumpy, the lights aren't great, and sometimes 3 teams have to share one field. It's hard to practice and learn that way. Sugar Sand is already a great place for kids. Putting softball there means girls like me can practice safely near our baseball friends in one park. That helps families too. One drop off, not two. Softball is getting bigger everywhere. Kids my age watch it on TV and dream about playing in college or even the Olympics one day. We want fields that help us get better now. This is about fairness and safety. Boys have nice places to play. Girls should have them too. We all live in Boca and we all deserve fields our city is proud of. Please say yes to Sugar Sand Softball Complex so my team and the next teams after us can play, learn, and feel safe right here at home. Thank you for listening.
Good evening. My name is Christina Broker, and I live at 2391 Northwest 38th Street in Boca Raton. I'm a 40-plus year resident here. Thank you for your continued commitment to keeping Boca Raton a community known for its pristine parks and active lifestyle. Tonight, I'm here to ask you for your support and approval of the planned Sugar Sand Softball Complex, a project that perfectly embodies your mission to provide extraordinary parks for every resident, especially our youngest. This isn't just about building new fields. It's about creating a place that reflects who we are as a community, one that values safety, fairness, and opportunity for every child who calls Boca home. I respect the weight of the decision before you. You are trusted stewards of our city's natural spaces, protecting the environment, maintaining what we build, and ensuring equitable access for all. The Sugar Sand Softball Complex replaces decades-old facilities that no longer meet even the most basic standards. It's a plan that balances preservation with progress, giving our kids a safe, modern place to play while keeping Sugar Sand the community jewel it has always been. Softball returns to the Olympic program in Los Angeles in 2028. for the first time since Tokyo in 2021, putting the sport back on the world's biggest stage. This summer's Little League Softball World Series shattered viewing records on ABC, 1.44 million on average, and up to 3 million at peak viewing points. Proof that interest isn't abstract, it's measurable and growing. Major League Baseball invested in the Athletics Unlimited Softball League, and a new multi-year deal will air around 50 games per year on ESPN, including a national broadcast on ABC, unprecedented visibility for women's softball. But while the sport's visibility grows nationally, Boca Raton risks falling behind again. Without modern, safe, and accessible facilities, our city will not be a viable pipeline for the next generation of softball athletes. The girls learning the game here today could be tomorrow's collegiate stars or Olympic hopefuls, but only if we give them the same foundation that baseball and other sports already enjoy. By approving the Sugar Sand Park complex, this board can ensure that Boca remains a place where youth athletes don't have to leave the city to chase a dream or an opportunity. They can build it right here at home. Approving the Sugar Sand Park complex isn't just the right decision, it's the responsible one. It delivers safe, sustainable, and equitable facilities that align with this board's mission and values. You have an opportunity to ensure that every child in Boca Raton, regardless of sport or gender, plays in the kind of environment our city is proud to stand behind. It's time to move this project forward. Let's give our girls and the fields that they deserve and preserve Boca's reputation as a city that invests in all of its youth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jeff Cooper, and my address, I'm 3700 South Ocean Boulevard, and I've been here for over 30 years. But I've written something tonight, but I'm just going to speak very briefly. I'm here to support my granddaughter Lily, who spoke earlier, and my daughter-in-law Diana, who proudly spoke in support of girls softball. And I'm here to speak just as a grandparent, a proud grandparent. Lily has a brother, Elliot, who also plays baseball. And my wife and I proudly attend just about every one of their games. And the perspective is just incredible in seeing what the boys have versus what the girls have. They have nice dugouts, scoreboards, food stands. It's just incredible, the facilities that they're offered at Sugar Sand Park. And the girls are relegated to very, very, very little practice fields. The disparity is just great. And I'm just here before you to say that I think something must be done. This is Boca Raton. I've traveled to Weston, to Pembroke Pines, to Lake Worth, and the facilities there are much more appropriate to what the boys have here. So I really impeach you to please consider the Sugar Sand project and allow the girls to be play on equity with the boys. They deserve it. They're wonderful. They're really into it. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Phil Wishna, 11591 Island Lakes Lane in Boca, 45-year residence. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you. I'm a baseball and softball guy. I grew up playing. I played as an adult for many years here in town, and my wife and I raised two boys who are now in their 40s. And when they were growing up here, they did all the things from t-ball to minors to majors to all the way through to juniors and seniors. In fact, my younger son still plays on Sunday mornings. I'm new to this issue. I just learned of it maybe a few weeks ago. And as a baseball, softball guy, I just feel that I needed to say something. And a lot of it has been said before because it's true. The difference in equality, it just doesn't make sense to me. My boys, as has been said before, wherever they played, it was beautiful facilities with manicured fields, maintained, the concession stands, the dugouts, whatever was needed, the proper shade, everything else that was needed. And the contrast would just appear to me recently because my younger son's daughter, 6 years old, just finished her first year of playing girls softball here in town on Saturday. And the first thing she said after the pictures were taken and everything else was, "Daddy, I want to sign up and do it again." this is the kind of spirit that these girls are showing and have wonderfully spoken about. And it just doesn't make sense to me as far as equality is concerned in today's day and ages, why girls aren't on an equal level with boys. It's going to be good for them. It's going to be good not just for the skills that they're learning, but the teamwork and the camaraderie and the friendships they'll make. It just really changes lives for the better. Thank you for listening. I appreciate the opportunity.
Good evening. My name is Patrick Grogan. I live at 420 West Royal Palm Road, Boca Raton. I'm the proud father of Harper Grogan, and I have an older daughter who's 12, who is also very involved in BRSA and the local travel program. I wanted to touch on something that my daughter had mentioned regarding additional time to try to get in some green space under the lights it's not a permitted practice. Obviously, we could practice twice a week, which is great, but there are times that a lot of these girls have to practice, whether it's pitching, catching, outfielding, outside of practice, their normal practice time. And it is virtually impossible to find any green space fields under the lights, especially with it getting darker, for us to be able to find time to play. We used to be able to go behind the softball fields at Memorial. There's some green space there. There was always some older guys playing soccer over by the tennis courts. But then recently we've gone down there and that entire green space is taken up by soccer. So the city is clearly becoming more active, or we're getting more people that are moving in here that are getting more into fitness, which is a great thing. And we're really urging you guys to consider bringing our girls softball program and the facilities that they need to practice on really up to speed. These little girls have a great passion, as you've seen in the past couple meetings, to be able to be continuously being active and working on their sport. But they're having to compete with the boys and even older gentlemen in co-ed softball leagues for space all over the city, which again, it's a great thing that everyone is so active, but our children and our daughters who are trying to pursue their passion and their dreams should not have the underhand, not have the upper hand or not have equal playing opportunity to be able to practice and to play the sport that they love. I think also one thing that is surprising to me is that I think myself and I think a lot of the people that live in Boca are very proud of where they live. And I just feel that the softball facilities are drastically on a different playing field, no pun intended, than what other communities that I don't feel are not nearly as nice as it is to live in the city of Boca. So we go to these fields and we're very impressed with the facilities that they have, and then they come back home to our beautiful city and to not have those same accommodations and facilities is really just, I think, doing a disservice to our daughters who are truly passionate about their health and wellness and making a difference and chasing after their dreams. So I would like to please consider, urge you guys to consider the Sugar Sand project to continue to move forward. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Gavin Hennessy, and I'm in a league that is very good and has a lot of money. And girls don't have good facilities like the boys do, and I think that's unfair. I've seen all these girls play here, and they're studs, but they don't get as much time to practice or play because of the raining out of their fields and not in good condition. I think that it's unfair to the girls that they don't get as much good treatment as boys, and I think that it should be changed. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Commissioner, for letting us speak today. Thank you for having the girls speak. They are truly amazing young girls. My name is Mark Minadio. I live at 6412 Villa Rosa, Boca Raton, Florida 33433. My daughters have enjoyed the opportunity to play Boca Raton recreational softball and travel softball for the past 4 years. I've had the great opportunity to volunteer as a coach to teach the young girls a great game of softball. Softball is a team sport, so getting outside and playing a game with your friends provides many benefits and builds long-term relationships. My role today is that I'm the program director for our travel program, often referred to as the South Florida Bolts, the TBT Bolts, the Boca Bolts. We did not start the travel program at BRSA. Prior to COVID, there was a program called the South Florida Bolts. Their team colors were lime green and gray, and unfortunately, this program was lost when COVID hit. That said, the travel program was always listed on the BRSA website. As recreational parents, we came up with the idea of resurrecting BRCA's travel program so our girls from East Boca had a place to play travel softball. We even changed the colors to purple and gold. Simply put, the majority of our girls were not good enough to play on travel teams from other cities, so we had to provide them an opportunity to play travel softball ourselves. We do not do anything different than any other surrounding program. Most cities have a rec program with a travel softball component. BRCA has a rec program of 200+ participants, and we have a travel program of 5 teams to accommodate those girls that want to play more softball at a higher level. We have an 8U team, we have a 9U team, we have a 10U team, a 12U team, and a 14 under team. As my girls got older, we have made it a priority to offer travel to the younger girls behind them. We feel that it is important to pass this baton so no softball family is in the same situation where a travel program is not available for their daughter to play in East Boca. We are very proud of this 9U team. This 9U team was the #1 team last year by USSSA, not only in South Florida, but also in the Southeast region. Our issues come down to fields. The city does an amazing job trying to accommodate all of the teams. BRCA Rec gets first priority for fields. What availability is left, we schedule for travel. If travel cannot get on the Memorial Fields, we are fortunate to get a field at Spanish River. The Spanish River complex is better as it has 2 batting tunnels. We do not have any batting cages at Memorial or Meadow Fields. Spanish River is also not ideal. Tomorrow, we will have a team start at 5:30. Then we will have a second team start at 6:15 and a third team start at 6:45, all in the same fields. We basically overlap practices where each team gets the infield for 30 to 45 minutes, and then they need to find something else to do either in the outfield or in the batting cages. All our cities have dedicated softball fields, whether it be Coral Springs, Parkland, West Boca, West Boynton, or Palm Beach Gardens. We thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna bring this back to the rec league. My name's Stacy Mulcahy. I live at 1291 Northwest 13th Street, number 402, where do I live? 442D. Okay, it's been a very long day. I also teach 2nd grade. Okay. We are privy to recent resistance, all factually incorrect. 90% of our league are not travel players, and a partnership with West Boynton has nothing to do with fields. Yes, it has dissolved. We don't cheat in Boca, but that has nothing to do with fields. Our league needs 4 new fields. Thank you.
How's it going? My name's Andrew Strange, 6814 Holton Circle, Lake Worth, Florida. I'm speaking as a resident, and speaking on behalf of the Boca Surf Park. So the thing that is interesting to sit back and listen to, knowing our side of the surf park side of a position, is that I want to choose my words wisely. There's a reality to the North Park at this point in time, which is that it could either sit dormant and be an iguana wasteland, which it currently is, or it could serve a purpose where it will make portions of the community happy. And the reality of it is you could put softball fields there, and you could put a golf course there, and you could put a surf park there, and you could put field houses there, and you could put the YMCA there, and you could put outdoor roller rink. We heard, there's 1,000,001 things that could go at any piece of property at any point in time. And, I've lived in Boca for 20 years. I actually used to live on Jeffrey Street. And we live in paradise, right? There's a music lyric that says, call a place paradise and kiss it goodbye. And the reality of it is just in the 20 years that I've lived here, it's become developed and more developed and more developed. And the reality for this area is it's going to become developed. And golf will make a portion of people happy, and a surf park will make a portion of people happy. But if we completely kill an opportunity for an entire sector of recreation to just never have an opportunity to be somewhere, you close the door to an entire community, telling them that they're not wanted, needed, a part of the community. It seems like a very interesting dynamic. I will say that I don't envy anybody's seat up on the stage right now because it's kind of a lose-lose-lose situation. And I've personally spent a lot of time getting to know the residents in Boca Chica, and they've been more or less lovely. And I can understand the dynamic of not wanting a surf park in my backyard. I get it. But I also understand that there's not a whole bunch of places where a surf park could work, and you have a demand for a surf park. So how do you check all of those boxes? Unfortunately, you can't. And we have tried to show over and over and over again that we want to work with the people of the community, that we want to work with golf. Like, I play golf more than I surf. I would love to have golf there. I'm all about it. There's enough space where everybody could be as happy as possible. But I was always told a healthy compromise is not everybody walks away happy. So that's just my 2 cents, and I appreciate your time.
Okay, last call for public comment. Nope, okay, so we'll close public requests and we'll go back to number 2. There is a motion on the floor.
Well, can I say something?
Absolutely.
I mean, excuse me. First of all, I mean, thank you, Sam, for guiding and allowing us to have resident input, because resident input is why we're here. And so we get a lot of resident input in different ways and different forms. So I totally understand there's a number of people for and against, and I think we've heard from everyone here that said there is strong feelings about something in my backyard. There's strong feelings from other people like myself who has just a 20-foot backyard. And I was kind of surprised that we could offer so much infrastructure and 250 feet. But I do appreciate what Boca Surf has gone through to get this far. And I think they've done an awful lot to demonstrate what they have. But we're still in the exploratory process. This is the vetting process. It may result in nothing. It may result in it being an iguana wasteland. It may result in being a new golf course. It may result in being a field house. It could be a lot of things, but we're not there yet. And so all this process was about exploring what that was. I agree with Mr. Chaffee. I hate this process. Ranking what we ranked and not having a discussion is just not businesslike. It's not in any way getting across the feelings and thoughts of what we would like to see as a board. It was just kind of a process that we followed because this is what the state tells us. Never did we get to go through this in detail. We know we need field houses. We know we need softball fields. That's what's come out of this in the past, few years, or few weeks, I should say. And so where were we in all this time that we needed that? They just sat idly by the people who were here before us, did nothing on it. We focused a lot on other things, but now we have an opportunity, and we have an opportunity of 212 acres. And Steve, I look to you to say, please, let's just keep this process alive. Don't kill it here, because that is a draconian resolution, which I think is not the right time for it. And it kind of comes out of the blue with no discussion. And I would rather have that opportunity to go through the process and finish it out a little bit. And we may come to the conclusion, no surf park. But it is a complete shutdown to the community who is there. And if you're going to do that, I would just say, wouldn't it be better to send a survey out to the community? If you're that uncomfortable, Mr. Rollins, about the process of everything, I think that if you send this out as a survey to the community, you can even put it on a voting roll for January. I think you'll have a lot more input from the entire community of what they would like to see in our recreation area, and we can prioritize things that way. And I'd rather defer it for that to get more community input before we just kill a proposal that I think is very viable. And there's, I think, from a partnership that you've got a gift there that you're looking at with a community, long-term, third-generation resident who's done a lot for this community up to this point, and that's why we chose them over others. So my recommendation is say no on this proposal, allow the process to finish out. Duly noted, the residents do not want the surf park there, but let's find out what others want and finish out the exploratory process.
Steve, go ahead.
Why is everybody always picking on me? Listen, I'm very appreciative of the work and the effort that the Boca Surf people put into the presentation in trying to accommodate the needs of the community. And this is not an easy thing. As I said, there's more than just, well, I wouldn't want it if I was living in Boca Chica. Personally, I don't know. I look at the project and I brought the book with your presentation with me tonight. I looked at it. I went over the numbers that you furnished several times, and the numbers just don't make sense to me. And that's also a part of it. On the face of it, I think the idea of a surf park in Boca has merit. But I can't see it at North Park. And it has to do part with what I said and with what one of you at the original presentation mentioned when I asked about feedback from the community. You said they like the idea, but not in my backyard. And if this was, I don't know, if this was something on a smaller scale, I might think differently about it. But this is a large investment on your part. It's a large investment in terms of land and time on our part, and it would be a large investment on the part of the community. And I just don't see how the whole thing comes together. That's why I am where I am. If you had said to me, well, okay, Steve, you have property at, let's just take, somebody brought up Boomers. Let's just take Boomers as an example. I think that's the ideal spot for a surf park. You're right next to I-95. You're right next to I-95. You've got the airport on one side, you got the highway on the other. It's fairly commercial. That would be great. But it just doesn't fit with me. And with the amount of time and money that you would have to put in, I don't see where the payback is. So that's why I am where I am with this. We could go forward. We could say, all right, let it play out. I don't know that it would play out differently than what I'm seeing now. That's just my 2 cents. And one other thing to the young ladies that were here before, you set a better example of behavior than some of the adults that are in this room tonight. So, thank you.
Yeah. Susie, do you have anything? Susie, do you have anything?
I've had my say.
Okay. Well, I guess we have to call it to a vote at this point. So,
Ready?
yep.
Okay. Commissioner Ernst,
No.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang. Yes. And Commissioner Wright.
No.
Motion passes 3-2.
Okay. So moving on to number 3, the softball field discussion.
Commissioners, I've got an update that I'll go through with you. It's in your packets as well, printed out. At our last meeting, I was asked to gather some information, so I'm going to do a presentation tonight giving information on the development of the softball complex at Sugar Sand Park, talk about current field needs, system capacity, review conversion benefits and risks, and then we're going to look at site considerations. People have brought up North Park, people have brought up Dornley Park and Sugar Sand. talk about the environmental requirements for all of our park projects, and then talk about the ILA. What's up? Yeah, talk about the ILA requirements that we have with the city. I don't know where I'm supposed to click, right? Okay, so our current situation with softball, youth softball currently uses Memorial Park North and South Fields and Meadows Park. These fields are undersized. They're between 180 to 200 and lack batting cages, hitting stations, and on-site maintenance. A lot of this has already been brought up by our speakers today. We have regulation, youth softball fields should be around 200 to 225 feet from home plate to outfield fence with additional 25 to 30 feet of safety buffer behind the fence. We have parent-player feedback, which we heard a lot of tonight. Frequent rainouts due to drainage and maintenance issues, lack of equal amenities to baseball, limited field space for travel in older divisions, and of course, a lot of safety concerns that were mentioned tonight as well. I'm getting a lot of feedback. Adult softball uses DeHornley Park exclusively. Those are larger fields. So softball participation, this data was provided by the city. BRSA Rec is between 167 and 179 for their spring and fall seasons. They have travel, has 24 to 50 players for spring and fall. Legacy Rock Gold is 20 players spring and fall, and then adult softball is 1,000 to 1,200 players. They do 3 seasons at DeHornley Park and use those fields primarily. Those are larger fields. So this is where they're playing. So 3 softball fields currently serving 200 players. Each field gives about 20 playable hours per week because of the rainouts, the shared use, and maintenance issues. So the total capacity right now is 60 hours a week. There's a demand for 63 hours a week. So right now, softball is at capacity on the current fields. This is Memorial Park North. I'm going to try to point. I'm afraid it's not going to work, but they're labeled. So you can see north is facing to your left. Memorial Park North, the base distances are 60 feet, pitching distances are 30, 40, 43. The fence is 225 feet, but they do put up temporary fencing because this field was originally made to be able to play soccer on it as well. The Memorial South, base and pitching distances are the same. The fence is 180 feet. It's only used by the younger players because I think someone mentioned in their comments tonight, they do actually hit those balls into the parking lots that are adjacent to that field. There is no space for any other amenities like batting cages to go out there or hitting stations. There's no on-site maintenance storage. So a lot of equipment and maintenance is carted in either from Sugar Sand Park or DeHornley Park. So this is Meadows Park, and I feel like somebody's helping me click now. Existing field conditions at Meadows Park, the bases are 60 feet, pitching is 30, 40, 40, and 43. The fence is 176 feet. There's also no space here to add additional amenities or it would interrupt other amenities in the park. There's also no maintenance storage here, so staff has to trailer equipment in to maintain this park as well. So why a new softball complex is being considered at Sugar Sand? There was a downtown campus master plan discussions that came up and the district became aware of the inequity in softball fields and amenities and the consideration that additional fields were needed. They agreed to an ILA with the city of Boca to allow for the complex to be considered at Sugar Sand Park. This would create regulation-sized fields with the right buffers and amenities equitable to the baseball fields that are at district parks, including Sugar Sand and Patrice Park, where we do have batting cages, hitting stations at all of our fields. This will improve efficiency, reduce field closures due to weather and on-site maintenance and better drainage. Having a maintenance facility already on site at Sugar Sand and staff that know how to maintain these fields already on site would improve the quickness of returning them to playable condition when it does rain or when there are maintenance issues. So in considering North Park, that's come up, is North Park a place for these? Some of the considerations that have been an issue with anything we've tried to do at North Park, it obviously directly adjoins the residential neighborhoods. There's high mass lighting for night play, and play would go on to 11 p.m. There is no infrastructure there for off the road, so you have to build that traffic circulation into a softball complex, additional construction costs, obviously additional costs for the soil mitigation as well. And we would have to redesign the current maintenance facility that's planned to just serve trails and playgrounds and things like that on the east side. I did ask the city Public Works Director to kind of show how it would look at North Park. So here's a couple of options if you were going to put it on the southwest side or the northwest side. Obviously adjoins a lot of those properties. You obviously have a lot of noise from softball. You will definitely hear kids playing and laughing and having a good time. And of course, traffic considerations as well when there's league play. So this is, obviously there's space for it, but again, is this a compatible community for it? Based on the community feedback on the surf park, I'd say not. DeHornley Park is currently being planned to add additional soccer fields. So the space that's left is the space in between the squiggly lines. I can't point to it, but additional soccer fields are needed. We're going to lose our FAU fields that we lease. That lease runs out in 2030. So we currently have an ILA that we sent to the city for consideration to let the district start designing and building those soccer fields at DeHornley Park so that when our leases are up in with FAU, we have a place for soccer to go because soccer is a pretty robust program within the city. Also want to just go over environmental oversight. This is for any project that we build, anything we do, whether it was the pickleball at Patch Reef or even the playground redesign, all of our projects go through these same requirements. So there's a city environmental assessment that's required for any site development. There's a wildlife and habitat survey that's completed to identify any protected species, including gopher tortoises. We also did this for the east side of North Park because they're going to be building that site out. There's a tree survey and disposition plan that's required under the city code. There's a soil and drainage review that has to meet FDEP and the city's stormwater standards. And then, of course, the environmental officer is required to sign off on anything before a construction permit is issued. We know this intimately with all of our projects. The tree preservation requirements is also a code in the city. It's chapter 28. There's a tree survey and permit required for any removal or relocation of trees. It's required that you do an inch-for-inch replacement or a contribution to the tree trust fund, and those funds are used to plant new trees elsewhere within the park system, medians, or public lands. For example, if trees are removed from sugar sand to accommodate the softball fields, inch for inch, those trees have to be replaced elsewhere financially, so they could also put those at North Park along the trails that we're building, things like that. So the tree canopy stays the same within the city. It may shift where it's located. There's also a landscape plan reviewed by the environmental officer. They review the removal and replacement plan. As far as North Park goes, that's also monitored by the FDEP. They inspect during and after construction. And they verify that any replacement trees, if you do plant trees after the fact, they have to verify that those trees survive. The same for gopher tortoise protection, just because that's been a hot topic. FWC regulates all the tortoise activity under Florida Admin Code. Before construction, a license survey identifies all burrows. A final survey has to be done 90 days from within construction time. So while one was already done at Sugar Sand, if this project moved forward and they were to construct, they would have to do another survey and protect any gopher tortoises that were found. There's a relocation permit that's required from FWC for any tortoises in a construction area. Only authorized people are allowed to relocate them to approved conservation sites. And confirmation is required from the FWC before work can begin on a site where there are gopher tortoises known to be. There's state laws in place to ensure that tortoises cannot be harmed or improperly relocated. And again, that's for all projects that we do. So the timeline with the city of Boca Raton, our interlocal agreement had one milestone in it. It was that the city would present a conceptual plan to the district by January of 2026. They actually do need to do additional environmental assessments, so they're asking for an extended timeline. They need to have some additional time to complete the environmental review, do more public engagement, and the design evaluation before presenting the plan. So the city has asked us to consider amending that ILA just to allow for more time for them to come back with a conceptual plan. So I'd like the board to consider a motion to amend the agreement, just to allow them more time to come back rather than in January with a conceptual plan, to come back in the spring or summer with a conceptual plan.
Do you need like a
I need
specific date?
You can say by spring or by summer of 2026 in the amendment.
Okay. Anybody with a motion?
But he
Madam
wants to
Chair, if I
amend
may,
it.
just quickly.
If the motion would be supportive of Brianne's request, it would be to essentially authorize and direct the preparation of an amendment to the existing ILA to give you until spring,
That would be fine.
like an outside date.
Yeah, like we could say, I don't know, May 30th of 2026.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
I'll make the motion to extend as the executive director's timeframe to discuss with the city the adjustments that may be needed.
They just need more time to finish the environmental assessments.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Get first.
Oh, okay. Who's on first?
Yeah.
Go ahead and do a roll call.
Do roll call? Okay. Commissioner Ernst?
Yes.
Commissioner Engel?
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang?
Yes.
And Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
If there's any other questions on this, I'm happy to take them. Feel like we're done with this. We'll move on.
Okay. We've already done public requests. Do we need to open it up again, to public request? Or
Is there anything else?
Not necessarily, no, if you've opened that door completely.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, moving on to approval of payroll and invoices. Treasurer?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion for approval of payroll and invoices in the amount of $228,666.58.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Ernst?
Yes.
Commissioner Engel?
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, moving on to reports and discussion items. Your Executive Director Harms.
Obviously, things have changed as far as the direction we're going, but we do have other proposals that we're working on getting the additional information for. For the next couple of meetings, I just want to make the public aware, we're going to need additional time to do that. It's not going to happen by the next meeting. So we'd like to just take some time to do that. We'll go back to some regular business we have to work on. Our agenda items for the next meeting are going to be work order for the structural bridge inspection at the Racket Center, additional lighting at the Racket Center work order. We have to also staff is going to be working on preparing our annual report, which is required under Florida statute. So we have a lot of other business to address, and we'll return to the second floor of the swim center for our meeting in 2 weeks. I also wanted to say that I did reach out to the city regarding the application that they submitted for the Jeffrey Street extension. I asked if they had submitted a new one. I also asked for any traffic studies that were done. I have not received that information yet, but when I do, I will forward that out to the board. And that's all I have.
Okay, Eagle? Do you have anything?
Madam Chair and Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity, but I have no report this evening. That's my report. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Okay. I'm gonna go first tonight, if that's okay. I have a little statement that I've written out that I'd like everybody to hear, and it's for the record. I'd like to briefly address misinformation circulating online related to the 2022 City Council workshop presentation on Ocean Breeze / North Park. There is a video clip being shared that suggests I promised golf would be built. That is incorrect. I am not on Facebook, but one of my peers ungraciously shared it at the last meeting. Nothing in my comments was a promise that golf will be built. In fact, I repeatedly say the opposite. Here are some key points from the full transcript with direct citations. Item number 1, I said it is a conceptual plan, not a final commitment. My quote, "This is our conceptual master plan. This is conceptual. Things can move around." Item number 2, I emphasize that the city must still approve any final plan. My quote, "We know we need to come back when we do our site plans. We need to get your approval. This is conceptual." Item number 3, golf shown on the plan was a placeholder until the P3 RFP process occurs. My quote, "This is not exactly what will be here. This is a placeholder. Once we go out for an RFP, we'll see what works best," which we just did. Meaning if no P3 proposal works, it does not happen. Item number 4, I explicitly said that the district is not building the golf facility ourselves. A P3, they design it, they build it, they run it. We won't be making a profit off the golf. That's how it works. Meaning if no P3 proposal works, it does not happen. Item number 5, the ask at the meeting was only to move forward with the design and the RFP process, not to build golf. We are seeking your support of this conceptual master plan and the solicitation of the public-private partnership for golf and racket amenities. Item number 6, even the mayor clarified this wasn't approval to build anything. His quote, knowing that you have to come back for full approvals, they're not relying on our go-ahead to say yes. And yes, I did say the words, I promise, but the context matters. Toward the end of the discussion, after a resident complained that golf wouldn't happen until 2028, I responded, and the golf will be done before 8 years. I start to say I promise, but immediately clarify the timeline discussion was about moving to RFP design quickly, not building a course. No vote was taken, no approval was given, no commitment was made, no promise of golf exists anywhere in the record. Anyone can post a crop video online, but the public record is clear. The golf layout was an early concept only. It required city approval, which never occurred. It needed a P3 to design, fund, and operate it. None of those steps ever happened. So I want the public to hear this directly on the record. At no time did I or this board promise golf at Ocean Breeze. Anyone claiming otherwise is spreading misinformation. No one promised golf, and no golf project was approved at that meeting or since. As always, any future use of that property is subject to public input, commission direction, and the full city approval through the formal process. If anyone has any questions or would like to read the full transcript rather than clips on social media, we're happy to provide it. Transparency matters, and the record speaks for itself. That is my comment on that to put on the record. And I also like to say that we had the ribbon cutting at pickleball, and it was awesome. And it's a great facility, and I hope everybody can get out and enjoy some pickleball because it's for beginners to the very crazy advanced players. So that is it. Anybody else? Somebody, Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, just one thing. And also to clarify a misconception. Counselor, with regard to deed restrictions, what was the ruling of the Florida Supreme Court once a property was sold or became a public, part of a public property?
May I respond, Madam Chair? Yes, we provided you an opinion back in 2020 in the context of that question, as well as a supplemental backup item, which was from the city attorney's office in 2017. The answer is under the Manalapan case, which the citation, I would have to find it to give you the actual citation. It was a Florida Supreme Court decision, which essentially said that when property, real property, is taken by a governmental agency for a public purpose or public use under the Florida Constitution through condemnation or by acquisition, which can be voluntary, that those covenants essentially are subsumed within the acquisition and do not exist. So they are unenforceable because of the fact that they were taken by the government for a public use, public purpose. And at the end of the day, that's the opinion we rendered. That's what the Supreme Court essentially said. I can read you the language directly from the opinion if that would be helpful, but that's what the case said.
Okay, so there is no deed restriction upon North Park.
The end result is that so long as the property is used for a public use and public purpose, which are consistent with this agency's special act, that is the language provided for it for public use, public purpose.
Thank you.
That's it? Okay. Craig? Nothing? Bob? Okay, Susie?
Just want to thank staff for a wonderful job on the pickleball facility. Everybody did a great job.
Move to adjourn.
Second. Commissioner Ernst,
Yes.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang,
Yes.
and Commissioner Wright. Motion passed.
Meeting adjourned.
Sure.
Thank you.